promo.
What kind of disgusting, despicable lack of respect is that Billy What's-His-Name show booking a match for the total package like Luger and Super Brawl? Super Saturday? What is it? I don't even know what it's called. What is it called?
Super Brawl Saturday.
Super Brawl Saturday? Can he afford to pay me to wrestle around? I don't know. I'm one of the biggest legends and stars ever in this. God! And your t-shirts are too tight too, Billy! And you book a match with me against Ryan Killings? Look at me! I'm a total package. I will rip him apart. I'm pissed now.
God damn it. It fucking threw me off. Oh, I can't even do the promo now. It's over. It's too late.
If it helps at all, I just realized something. I think I learned something every time we watch that promo.
Me too.
Did anyone else realize that they took a juggalo off the street and cleaned him up and then make him dress like a pimp named Slickback?
I thought he out there. I thought he just looked like dollar store Michael Hayes. Honestly, I mean, fucking.
I mean, yeah. Except it's a purple suit, man. Whew, that's something.
Dude, he got like steroid mouth, man. He mumbles. He either that or he's on those perks, like, you know, the night that Miss Elizabeth died and shit. Like,
Damn.
He had too many of those, and he just starts mumbling.
Shit, in hot times, baby.
I was just going to do like an Owen thing where he calls everybody a bunch of peons, and he tells Petting Zoo to Neil Petting Zoo, I did it all by myself. With the help of my only family member that ever cared about me. Whoa!
Spoiler alert, that promo was fucking wonderful. When he yelled at Paddington to kneel at him, I was kissing myself.
It was fucking great.
Get on your knees, Paddington! Kneel! I'm the king!
Like, and now Jack Tunney's like, no, I don't want Jack Tunney to do a damn thing!
And we will get to that later on. What we're covering here on...
Hey, guys!
Hello, by the way, I'm Joe Dubs, and that's Zach waving, and Chaz holding the title upside down.
That's the Miz
intentionally. It's the Miz. Yeah, he's my favorite. Chaz, he's my hero.
He didn't get to be Johnny Cage. Too bad.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Get him next time, baby.
Yeah.
Next time. Again, next time, baby. We're going to be doing King of the Ring 1994 and WCW Clash of Champions 27, which was on my birthday, by the way, June 23rd, 1994. So,
same.
Do you feel like you guys got a present when you watched it?
Well, what's cool is that, well, I mean, I wasn't a WCW mark then. I became a mark when Nitro came out. But
Mark.
The King of the Ring, where Stone Cold bumping Bibles in Austin 316, that was on June 23rd.
There it is.
So
it's a good one.
Yeah.
So I guess, yeah, since we're already talking about the birthday and everything, so I've already hit like one of my earliest memories of WCW, and I'd said it before the show started, but we're now in that territory where 5-year-old me is going to come out and like die on some weird hills because nostalgia is a hell of a drug. But that said, I did watch this on my birthday. In fact, I remember having a little birthday party, and then it was really a big deal that my dad wanted to watch it too. So he watched it with us. I don't remember if my grandpa watched it or not. But then my friend that lived down the street, Brian, who's my age, came over. So it's 2 5-year-olds sitting there with like little wrestling buddies. I got like Ultimate Warrior and like Hogan wrestling buddies, and Hogan's like, at this point, Hogan's basically Hitler in my mind for 5-year-old me. Like, he is the worst of the worst. I despise him, and I have no reason. So it's such a weird thing because I also don't like Ric Flair, but I had some weird like opinions about things other than Sting is God and Sting needs every belt in WCW.
I can't wait until we talk about that part where Hogan has his interview with Mean Gene, because I literally had fruit punch and it came out of my nose and hit my monitor and like I was laughing my ass off. But we'll get to that.
I have a surprise for you guys too, but we'll get there. It's nothing crazy. Just it's a surprise like moment to share with you all that I didn't realize until I watched the show.
Okay, cool. Can't wait. So let's start with King of the Ring, since that was first in order. Clash of Champions. We are in Baltimore Arena in Maryland, and they have like this weird intro thing where they're all in the room with the bracket, and like IRS is like, I'm gonna go all the way, I'm gonna be Razor Ramon, and then Jeff Jarrett's there saying that he's gonna win. They're all doing the thing where I'm gonna get to the finals and win the thing, and Owen,
like all the heels are,
yeah. And Owen comes in and he's like, saying, Jeff Jarrett, you're a pretty good wrestler and all that stuff, but I'm gonna be winning this tonight. And we get a surprise next. Well, actually, the anthem happened, which I'm gonna be unpatriotic. I fucking fast forwarded. I'm like, I don't need to listen to this.
Oh man, well, Rick Medlock did it, which is probably one of the better people they ever got to fucking do it.
I know. I want to get to the fucking action.
I took a
Blackfoot and Leonard Skinner, brother.
I took a knee, and then cops broke into my house and beat me, and then made me watch it standing up. So the next time I watched it, I held a flag, so it evened out.
Yeah.
Well, normally I would skip it too. I was like, I was like looking at it, was heard Rick Medlock. I'm like, what? Then I watched it. I was like,
same thing. I was like, what? Oh, this guy, all right.
Cool.
Well, I did the thing. He sounded good every time I hit the button just to see how long he would sing. I was like, oh, he has a good voice, and just kept on fucking fast forwarding.
I just listened to Blackfoot. You're better off doing that.
Yeah, but we also got a bigger surprise. Vince is not on commentary. Gorilla Monsoon, Macho Man, and my favorite color commentator, Art Donovan. I have no idea who Art Donovan is, besides, I guess, maybe he's a Baltimore announcer, maybe, or
he's
owner.
a Baltimore football player. He was.
Yeah, he played for the Baltimore Colts way back in the United States. He's famous Hall of Fame football player. They were like, we'll get a really famous person from Baltimore to come in and be here, because old as shit and doesn't know a fucking thing about wrestling, and he clearly doesn't know whether it's real or not, and it's fucking wonderful.
At least, I was gonna say, at least he wasn't like a fucking asshole about it or anything. Like they get people sometimes that are, and no, he was just like, man, they're killing each other.
Well, they all do their predictions, and Art Donovan's like, Razor Ramon's gonna win it, and you're
that was like the first match. He was like the first guy that walked out. That guy's gonna win. See the other one.
He's like, Jesus, that guy's jacked. Yep, that's my man right there. Until later, he's like, no, you know what? I don't think he's got it.
After he almost won, he got all the way to the finals. I don't know if he's gonna win anymore.
Macho, then Gorilla X, Macho Man, who's gonna win between Bret Hart and Diesel, and this is their first title match for Diesel, right? Going after the championship, correct?
The world title, yeah.
Yeah, so Macho Man kind of he says Bret Hart's great, but he's like, I don't know, man, Diesel might win it all and all that stuff. He gives a possibility about Diesel winning. And I kind of like that. Not he didn't stick to the whole Bret Hart's a face, so he might win, and he's more experienced than Diesel. He's like, I don't know, man. Diesel kind of fucking big, bro.
Diesel's got that Diesel power, man.
He's big, cool, yeah.
Yeah, Macho did a thing this whole show where he kind of played. He was the heel announcer, but not a heel announcer. He found reasons to justify why a heel might win. But he didn't outright justify any of their actions. He was like, "Oh, no, they shouldn't do that." But it's kind of strange. But I liked it. It was just it's different, than the typical thing where you just pick a side and that's that.
He hit the late season color commentator part of the color commentator's life / career, because he's almost done doing commentary. Heel commentators will eventually get to a point to where they're not outright heel anymore, and then they just kind of say, yeah, brother, wrestling, sometimes you got to do what you got to do to win. And that's kind of where they leave it. That's where he was at, basically.
No, we got the full cycle of the sun and moon in terms of commentators, because Gorilla's still rocking high noon, like right up on his stuff, still like amazing. Randy Savage is the sunset, and Art Donovan's the fucking full moon. Like, I mean, I don't give a shit. He's just gonna say whatever is on his mind
and step over people.
He's the new moon. He's in the fucking dark.
But that's the thing. It's great because he just puts it out there, and it's honestly like almost adorable. I hate saying it that way, but because it's like he's watching it and he really doesn't know what's happening. So he's like, oh shit, really? Like instead of being the guy's a jerk and it's like, hey, whatever, and make some silly comment. None of his comments are sarcastic. He is genuinely asking things, which makes it so much better. It actually makes it like a little better for someone else that's watching it, because like then you're like, wait, is that person really hurt?
It's like you're watching wrestling with like your really old grandpa.
Yeah.
It's kind of like what it reminded me of a little bit.
Like watching a wrestling event with you're like, you had a family event and a bunch of people came over. Uncle had too many beers and he's sitting there watching and he has no idea what's going on, and he's like, oh man, he just killed him, he murdered him. Oh man, I hope he's okay. I want him to snap.
Is he gonna be able to get out of bed in the morning?
Did you notice he never like talked to Gorilla during the whole night? Like he'll like answer when Gorilla talks to him, but usually he would ask the question to Randy. But like, Randy, who's that guy in the white the white jacket over there?
I think that was intentional.
At least he was sitting right next to him. Probably that's why.
Yeah, well, I would almost wonder if that was almost a Vinceism. Like again, Vince isn't out there, but he's still running the ship, right?
That's right, pal.
Like, but
my ship that I called sexy bitch.
He was probably yelling at Art to look at the fucking. Every time they went to the commentator like video and stuff, like you'd see Gorilla and fucking Macho Man like look at the camera, and Art Donovan's like.
He's like looking off to the side.
Yeah. Well, I know we're just spending this whole time just doting on the whole commentary thing, but it really is a highlight of this whole show anyway, on top of the matches we'll talk about. But there was one segment, I don't remember when it happened, so I want to talk about it now, where they were talking about someone getting hurt, and he asked Randy, like, how do you guys get up and do this the next day? Like, that's like some shit you would ask backstage. It's like, man, how the fuck do you guys do this? But he just straight up asked. It's like dead ass. Like, I'm gonna ask, and everyone's gonna hear it. And they're like, yeah.
Just takes a couple days. Yeah.
Just takes a couple beans, man.
Yeah. Just take your time. Couldn't tell me. Backstage, he told him drugs. He fucking showed him.
That's it, brother. Yeah. Big load of steroids. Anyway, let's get into the first match. The fucking Art Donovan's boy, Razor Ramon, in the beginning is facing off my boy, the Beast of the East, Bam Bigelow with Luna Vachon. I almost butchered her name.
So, yeah, this one starts off kind of interesting. Like, Razor gets in the ring, and he's like, Luna's like fucking screaming at him and shit. He just flicks his toothpick at her, and this pisses her off. It pisses Bam Bam off, and he Pearl Harbors him. He Pearl Harbors him from behind. And after that, it's like Bam Bam's just beating the stuffing out of Razor for a while. He's just hitting all kinds of moves, shoulder blocks, scoop slams, shit. Eventually, he goes for his flying headbutt, but he misses. And then Razor comes back. And he shoots Bam Bam in the corner, but Bam Bam puts his feet up, stop him. I like this spot. Razor saw it coming, ducked underneath him when he went to put both of his feet up to stop him. Slid underneath him out to the outside of the ring, grabbed his feet, did the wishbone, brother. And you know what happened?
What?
He split his nutsack in twain. You guys, come on.
I was like, what's he going to say? I was like waiting for something clever. Like, nope, the classic line, in twain.
He split his nutsack in twain.
It'll be the same again.
Again. He won't. They were talking about that in commentary, too. I think Art Donovan says, like, he's going to be okay. It was but after that, Razor hits a bulldog from the top rope, which was cool. And then I think Bam Bam gets him in, like, his backbreaker submission, like, crucifix style. Like, he's holding him like he's kind of doing a torture rack.
Yeah, it's just like a modified. It's not a flat. It's just like, oh, no, like you said, it's like side
Yeah, I call it crucifix style because it's kind of like what it reminds me of. Like when somebody goes to do a crucifix pin on a guy, he holds him there for like a really long time. It was like 2 minutes or some shit, I think.
And this is where Macho Man does good color commentary. He's like, he's got to be careful, bro. Like, this is just one match out of many if he gets advanced, and if he does all his energy, because Bam Bam was good selling because as he was holding Razor, like he was like struggling, like he's about to fall over from exhaustion. And that's where the part with Art Donovan's like, I think he's dead.
He was just kind of like limply hanging on. But I was just watching him do that, and I'm like, he's got no help at all. He's basically just holding Razor over across his shoulders.
Yeah, I was wondering how much of it was just real. It's not a slight to Bam Bam. Like, Razor's a big fucking guy. Like, dude is just like a fucking brick shithouse. And like I would imagine holding him up like that for that long. Again, that was a really weird spot to choose to be like a rest hold type of thing to set up, but it was really cool if they pulled it off. So it was neat. And then of course they did the whole thing where they sold that he was gonna like pass out. Like, no, I'm coming back, I'm gonna do it. Yeah, sweet.
Yeah, eventually he gets tired enough and puts Razor down. He goes to headlock him, but Razor does a back suplex. And then both guys are down. Razor gets up. He tries to do the back suplex in the corner thing off the top rope.
Wait, before you get to that, Art Donovan says one of the best things ever. He goes, "What if both men can't get up?"
I think Savage said like, "Then they'll get counted out" or some shit. He just said kind of
and they do clarify too. Like it's a neat rule in King of the Ring that like I wish it would come back. If they do it, is if both men get counted out or disqualified or anything, well, it's not just like, oh, we figure it out. Both people were just eliminated, and the person that was going to face them just gets a bye.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As there's like a neat little thing, like just added. Like you don't necessarily need to pull the bullshit, but it's a cool little thing to remind people of. Like you can't find some easy way out to just get it. So, but I just thought it was so funny. He's like, "What if they both can't?" He's actively just asking about like basic rules.
I mean, though, in some way, though, I think that's actually okay because it's kind of like it's the old Bill Watts rule I always remember, and I think more people should follow this. Always do every broadcast like it's somebody's first time watching or something.
Right.
Something
I'm not knocking it. It's great because it's so innocent, but at the same time, because it truly is a person that is like new to it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like you're saying, like you were hitting the basics to explain it. They actually do that in, like to their credit, they did it in the WCW pay-per-view and didn't fuck it up, which is great. Because they talked about a stipulation that should be a rule, and they made sure to clarify to people listening, hey, yeah, this should have been a DQ, but it wasn't because the ref missed it, and all that, blah, blah, blah. So, like you said, explaining it to people so they know there's, like, nuance is good if they've never watched it before. It's just so much better because this is also, like, just random Joe that they, like, pulled out. I mean, of course, it's a Hall of Famer. It's like a celebrity in a way, but it's still just funny because he just, what if this? What if that? He just says whatever's on his mind. I love it.
It served its purpose. But yeah, this leads into the finish here is when he's going to do the super back suplex. Bam Bam stops him. He elbows out, gets down, scoop slams Razor, and he's going to the top rope like he's going to do like a moonsault. But Razor gets up and like grabs him like between his legs, kind of like power bomb dumps him, and he pins him for 3 right there.
Yeah, I like that ending because obviously I would love to see, because it would be a spectacle to see Bam Bam in the Razor's Edge fucking getting slammed like that, but I don't think that's even possible for fucking Scott Hall to do. But
I'm not sure.
yeah, but I also love that it's not a finisher, it's from the top rope, and him getting slammed like that got the finish. Like, yeah,
it's like a big fat guy landing on the back of his head from like the top rope, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense that you could pull, and it's not like he like knocked him out and it was up forever. Like he was able to just squeak the win because of like that type of maneuver, like is enough to stun him long enough to get a 3 count. Like not every move that wins a match has to be the thing that like just kills the person. It doesn't need to be a KO. It's not Street Fighter. You just need to fucking pin him to 3. Sometimes that person can get right up after Mr. Bobby Fish. He knows.
Sometimes the finish can just be wrestling.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Like, people get mad about the roll up. No, wrestling. He out wrestled him. That's
like
okay.
Brian Danielson, one of his greatest quotes. My finish is wrestling. I'm like, thank you.
We also forgot to mention, like, I love the entrances, by the way. They have, like, the 2 big guys, like, the gatekeepers and stuff that are opening up the entranceway.
Yeah, I think this is the first time they did. I don't think they did that last year. I also like the laser tunnel. That fucking thing is so fucking
When
sick.
Razor comes out, bro, that was cool.
So fucking 90s.
It's awesome. God damn.
It is cool. Yeah, just the lasers, the smoke machine. Like, I don't know what it is. I just get hype as shit seeing that type of thing. I just think about like laser tag or something. It's just weird, but it is like I have like a very extreme like 90s nostalgia, like fever high when I see stuff like that.
Oh, so good.
Think about that game Crossfire. Remember that board game?
Yes.
Crossfire.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got a question to you guys. You know the like Razor's theme song? It does like the car crash, like do they use that in the Mankind thing?
It's the same. Yeah, it's the same effect.
Yeah, because I was like, hey, I heard that car crash before.
The bass beat for Austin's theme is also Razor's theme, but it's the beat is sped up.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Do 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 do, and then do 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 do. Like it's
they just literally added.
Yeah, they just added, and then they added what, and then like every time there's a what, there's like him stunning some motherfucker, or like clotheslining some bitch or whatever. It's just like
I saw a thing today. It said wrestling was wild in 2000. It was a video of Stone Cold coming out on SmackDown. He took a chair and he hit everyone in the ring. He hit the heels, he hit the ref, and then for no reason, Sergeant Slaughter came to stop him and he stunned him and left. And people went wild for every single fucking bit of it.
Because he was like the only guy who could do that shit and get away with it. It was amazing.
It was like, well, were you a face or a heel? I'm like, I'm an ass kicker. I would whoop everybody's ass. That's what he did.
So you guys got any other thoughts about this match? Did you like it?
It was a great opener. Razor and Bam Bam were throwing haymakers, by the way. I think you forgot to mention that in the review. Like they were like fucking popping off. Like they were
throwing some pretty snug shots, but I think it was just, like
it's normal for them.
Let's throw some snug shots.
Meat.
Yes.
Yeah. So we got.
Scott Hall's a worker, but at the same time, like he'll lay some pretty good shots in with the right guy or something. I've noticed.
Yeah, and I'm just glad that Bam Bam is not fighting Doink or Dink, even though they did mention about Dink.
Yeah,
he did lose,
man.
But man, at least he got to have a good match.
Yeah.
It's one of the Gaijins. He put on his Ribera jacket on. I want to get a Ribera jacket.
Yeah, we all need to get Ribera jackets.
But if I had to, obviously I had to give a review, like my rating on it, I would give it a nice 6.5 out of 10. It was good, but I won't say it's like over the edge. What I mean by over the edge, like when it gets 7, 8, 9, and 10, that's where I'm like, holy shit, this is a fucking great match. It was just a nice, good opener.
Yeah, it was very close for me to being good, so I gave it the old 6.9.
Nice.
Yeah.
I gave it 6.7. So we're all in the range. Unlike the Dave Meltzer trying to explain, if I give it 5 1/4 stars, you give it 5 stars, we're not disagreeing. It's like, okay, and then it's like, well, why did this match get 5 and it didn't get 4 3/4? He's like, well, it just didn't have the stuff I liked in it. He was really bad at explaining it. But I look at it like this. We're in the range. We basically agree. It's just that we might like it a little more or a little less. Just
we literally hit the deviation. Like we have our standard deviation and a median. Like you're right in the middle, dog. Yeah.
We do that a lot, though. It's like we'll be like, yeah, and then some. There will be like 1 or 2 matches where like I fucking hate this. I thought it was okay. It's like that.
I also, what I did too is I wrote down some notes of Art Donovan highlights that I kind of just want. I know we talked about him during the review here, but I wrote some of the violence makes him squeamish. That's one thing. So Savage tells him to hold his hand. That was one of the things.
I didn't catch that one.
Hold my hand.
That's great.
He also says he doesn't understand why Luna keeps screaming.
I don't think she understands why she keeps screaming either. Like, just...
I didn't remember that. But what I do remember now is the response. Like Randy has like a weird response to that, right? Like maybe it was Gorilla. Someone like makes a comment about how she's like really mysterious. Do you have it written down? Like, they have, like some weird way to explain why she's screaming like that.
I think it was Monsoon who said that.
She's worried about her man. And then when he picks fucking Razor as his dude, Savage talks about like placing bets. So Savage says he hopes Art didn't place any bets, but Art replies, "I don't have any money."
Yeah, he said that too. He was like, "I don't even have any money." And it just dead ends right there. There's nothing else to say.
He was so close to saying, "Why do you think I'm here in this booth with you?"
I think he had just enough wherewithal to stop himself. Like, if he's saying that. Oh my god, this dude was he was funny in like an unintentional way, but it was great.
Yeah,
right.
That's all I have for this. There's many more that I've written down.
Great, because I was thinking you really kept score because you kept pulling out lines. I'm just like, damn, Dubs followed Art Donovan very closely.
Because he made me laugh my ass off.
Oh, we go after that. We go in the back, and Todd Pettigzew's back there with IRS and Mabel. And IRS tells Mabel that he's going to beat him, and he's going to beat Razor. And then he like stumbles over his words and says something fucking lame or some shit, and I don't even remember.
Like, you know, goofy tax cheating, tax evading. It's like he just keeps saying tax something,
and I'm like, and you know me, I fucking hate this guy now, and I can't stand him. So I check out of about anything he does. Like when IRS comes on, I'm like, God damn it, and I almost can't pay attention to it.
The more we have to watch the IRS, the more I understand why Bray Wyatt's career is went the way it did. Because the apple doesn't fall too far from the goddamn tree.
Oh my god! You know, I had a thought though. I had a thought while IRS was on this show, and I can't believe I didn't really consider it before. Was IRS like the first occupational gimmick?
Well,
I think he might be.
Well, who came first, him or? Oh my god, who's the guy who stole the Repo Man? Whatever.
Repo Man's probably first because Repo Man's already like been and out of the company already.
I think you're right. I think Repo Man does have it on IRS, but like IRS was the first one Vince was really invested in.
Yeah, because I bet you amount of money is like, I fucking hate taxes.
I hate the goddamn IRS. I don't blame him. I mean, I hate the IRS too. So like we have something in common.
By the way, when IRS was stumbling on his words, I wrote this note down. This is what he said. This is the last time, and he like paused. He'll have to pause, face IRS, and I wrote good because
I hope.
Like he just kind of walks off after that, and then Mabel's standing there like shit, and then he just like says he's basically talks shit about IRS, but he does it in a much more smooth manner. And then like Oscar says, "Hey, I like Razor, I like you, but if we get to you, it's just business, B." And they leave, and I'm like, you know what? Like they were pretty good. Like Mabel especially, I was like, Mabel's pretty natural. They should let him talk more.
Yeah. So are they officially now just like other partners gone now? And Mabel's just singles, and Oscar's just his manager now. Is that where we're at?
King Mo, I don't know where he's at. Maybe he's like hurt right now. I don't think he's gone yet because I think he's still around for a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, I didn't remember if Mabel went on his single stuff now. I know like when he really gets the push and like the one that's like infamous is next year, but that's a whole different thing.
Well, he almost breaks fucking Diesel's back. Fuck! God damn it, Mabel!
Oh shit! Oh fuck it! I'm laughing so hard I can't fucking see. I got spots in my vision. Oh fuck!
Well, that's gonna be amazing when we get there. This leads right into the match though. IRS versus Mabel.
I gotta bring this up because one, IRS he has no entrance besides him fucking yelling at the crowd.
He came out and said, taxes, fuck you.
He said that to a kid. You don't even have a social security number yet. And I said, bullshit, everybody gets a social security.
Everybody gets assigned one at birth. What the hell's that about?
You know, you guys said something about IRS being, we talked about the debate of him being the first occupational wrestler. He may not be that, but he's definitely the first autistic wrestler. Like, I fucking hate his character now. Like, we've been watching it, and maybe it's because you've talked it up, but like, he soured on me so much because it's just the same thing, but it's so stale. Like, it gets the wrong kind of heat.
He's like, he's fucking, like, in my opinion, I feel like he's checked out. Like,
yeah.
Like, I think when he first came here in this
like Uncle
gimmick,
Howie checked out.
Oh damn!
But like when Mike Rotunda first came back to WWF in this gimmick, I think he was into it at first, and they were doing like these fucking vignettes and shit where he was at a desk and he was being an asshole, and like he had Vince behind him because he liked this gimmick.
And they had Money Inc. and stuff too. Like there was more going on there, right? Because they, yeah, like it makes sense.
And Money Inc.'s still going to be around. Like it's going to come back again soon. But like, yeah, I feel like he's just like done. And if I remember correctly, I don't think he wrestles for much longer anyway. So.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like when I'm talking about this, like I don't hold it against that person at all. It's just his character is just stale.
Yeah, I don't hate Mike Rotunda. I just hate his performance. Like, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I'm just not a fan of the character he's portraying right now, and it's really like just it is the wrong kind of heat. And it's the only way I know how to describe it. Like I'm not annoyed like boo. I'm boo as like this is bad, not boo as in I want you to lose. I want you to go away.
Quick, change the channel like that.
Yeah. My boy DJ. I should have left Microsoft.
So, Mabel makes IRS suck turnbuckle. He's like fucking throws his face in the turnbuckle like 10 times. And he just throws IRS around and beats his ass like the government mule that he is, more or less. And eventually IRS gets advantage and he hits his finish. He hits the right off and doesn't try to pin him. He does elbow drops for some reason. And then Mabel kicks out. I was like, what the fuck was that? Then Mabel executes a small package. I can't believe he did that. I was like, what the fuck? And then IRS, like, I don't know what happened. It looked like he tried to do something there and it didn't work. Like, I couldn't tell what was going on. Mabel tries to, like, I'm truncating this match a lot because IRS is in it, and like I don't think these guys had much chemistry anyway. But I'm just going straight into the finish here. Mabel tries to do something on the middle rope in the corner, like he's gonna leg drop him or some shit, which would fucking murder him. But IRS gets up, he like dives for the middle rope and shakes it, and Mabel goes, oh, whoa, and he falls and hits the ground. And then IRS hooks his leg. And he like holds the rope so he can't kick out, which actually at first I was like, does that make sense? And I thought about it and I was like, no, it makes sense because Mabel's like 500 pounds or some shit. That makes sense. He gets the pin. IRS is boring. Mabel is okay here. I still can't believe that motherfucker did a small package.
Hold on, let me check my notes here. Yeah, nothing small about that package.
That was a big package.
That was a large package.
There we go. That's large package now. When Mabel does that move, large package. I'm trying to think. I've never seen a guy that big do that move. Like that's the first time I've seen
it. Dude has some impressive agility for his size.
At that point, yeah, when he's that young, yeah, he does.
Yeah, well, he's smaller. He's not like Viscera fucking about to like explode out of his leather.
His pleather.
Yeah. That's the biggest he's been.
The many shades of Viscera. Oh my goodness.
I liked Viscera when he was like a weird drug dealer motherfucker.
Oh,
It's
fucking
like-
the Love Machine. Wasn't that what
No,
he was called?
before that, when he was in the ministry, and then right after.
Oh,
I
I
like
like that weird big Love Machine thing. I thought that was really funny too.
I liked it too, low key. It was weird though. That's like one of my favorite memes. Is like when your family walks in on you watching wrestling, and it's him like humping some motherfucker in the middle of the ring, and you have to explain that to somebody. It's awkward.
It's real. It's real.
It's a thing. See, he's doing it to express dominance. I don't know, but it kind of sucks that Mabel kicked his ass the entire time and then he lost. That's like the only thing I really don't like about this. It would have been a better finish for a heel that actually works and people care about. At least it was fast. 5 out of 10.
Yep. I'm gonna give you some Art Donovan stuff.
Okay.
He asks if IRS is a wrestler because he looks like a businessman.
He just shatters his gimmick. He's like, why's he out there?
then he asks him if he's gonna wrestle in all his clothes, which Macho Man says no, he's gonna take it off. Which he never did, by the way. So that made no sense. He also asked how much Mabel weighs, and it says it's unfair because IRS weighs half that, and that's where it ended.
Yep. And he didn't have to elaborate on that. It was just like that whole boxing thing. Like, what? So, isn't there a weight class? Nope. It's all open weight until 1997.
And then he doesn't recognize Oscar despite watching the entrances.
Yeah, he like 5 minutes later, he's like, "Who's that guy in the white suit?"
This is like having like your girlfriend sit next to you when you're watching a movie or a TV show. She's like, "Who's that? What's that part?" Like the whole time in this match, he's doing that. I'm gonna steal one from you. You may have it down. When he sees him, he's like, "Why is he putting his legs up there all funny?" Well, there's like at one point, IRS has Mabel in some type of submission, like it's like a rest hold thing, and he's using the ropes for leverage. And they have to explain to him that he's getting leverage, but the way he says it is like, "Why is he putting his legs up? That's weird." And then they explain, "Oh yeah, he gets leverage. It makes it hurt more." And he goes, "I guess that would work." He moves on.
Yeah, I didn't have that in my notes, but also the last thing about Oscar, really quickly, he says he thinks he's there to take them to the hospital because he's wearing a white suit, which I was like, what?
He's a paramedic.
Oh my goodness,
Lord!
But I gave it a 5 out of 10 this match because, like you said, it was quick. I wasn't impressed. Mabel was okay. IRS just sucks. I'm sorry, man. He's not great in the ring, in my opinion, at this time.
At this stage.
Yeah.
What you, Chaz? 5.
we hit the 5s, baby. Yeah, I gave it 5. Very average. Like it's fine. Like if commentary is playing into what I would give a match, then I might give it a 7. Like listening to the guy talk was hilarious, but otherwise, like I could have just walked around. Actually, one of my ass pissing sessions happened during this, but I was still entertained listening to him. But I didn't could see around the corner, but otherwise, it's one of those things. IRS wrestling is just not really entertaining. And that his fault anymore. Like you said, I think he's just checked out.
Yeah. We get like an extra bit for Coliseum home video where a poor cameraman is browbeaten by Jim Cornette along with Mr. Fuji, Majin Crush, and Yokozuna. I really like he gets up at Yokozuna and he spits gum at the fucking camera. And then he's like, Cornette's like, "Where have you been? Get in here. You almost ruined it by not showing up on time." And then he asks Mr. Fuji, like, we're working on a strategy. Mr. Fuji basically just says, "Yokozuna, Majin Crush, I want you to win the tag titles." That was all that he said. And then Cornette's like, "All right, get out of here. We got different strategies to go over. Get out. I don't want to see you in here." And then like both him and Yokozuna and Majin Crush get up, and he scares the poor cameraman so badly that he collapses and the screen goes dark. So I think he blacked out. I think that's what you're supposed to infer. He got so terrified he fucking shit himself and blacked out.
Is this the first time like the wrestlers mentioned Coliseum? Like,
no, they've done it before in different pay-per-views.
But they really like throw it home like throughout this pay-per-view. Like Coliseum home video gets brought up several times.
Yeah, because, I mean, back then, so it's like when you would watch the broadcast, you wouldn't see that shit. And they would just be recording stuff while the show's going on and be like, oh, we're doing this for Coliseum home video. And they patch that shit in.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're Roddy Piper and you're doing like 8 fucking commercials while you're doing promos at the same time, too. Man,
Yeah.
the fucker was plugging everything.
So, like,
there.
you would actually get an advantage, though, back then when you would watch it on home release. You know, or you go rent the tape at Blockbuster or some shit.
mm-hmm.
But at least from the WWF, I don't know about the WCW home releases. So next up, we got Tatanka versus Owen Hart, and I mean, right off the bat, it just starts like as soon as Owen gets. It's kind of funny because it's like the opposite of what you think would happen. I almost wonder if like they had an angle before this, because Tatanka was mad because he Battle of Little Bighorns Owen Hart. He attacks him from behind.
Yeah, he's like mad at the white man, and decides to like fucking go rage on him. Like, it was kind of interesting to see that.
That's why I was like, why is he so fucking mad? Like, something must have happened and we didn't see it because we're not.
That's what I was
about-
thinking.
Well,
Yeah.
think about it. Ludwig Borga fucking that one hit wonder ended his streak and injured him. Well, not injured him, but like he was injured and like
He injured his pride.
yeah. And then Ludwig Borga is like gone. He's not the big boy anymore, the big bad boy. So he's probably like, "Fuck! I got squashed by this motherfucker. Fuck this shit."
Like, could you imagine, or just hear me out, could you imagine if Tatanka still had his undefeated streak right now and this is when he lost the first time?
Oh my god, it would have helped tremendously.
It would have been so fucking huge. And then
Instead, they wasted on Borga. And I don't even know if he's going to fucking come back.
he's like the rest of America in the videos he showed. Trash.
Oh, look at this trash.
Garbage.
Puddle.
Look at this
Garbage.
puddle of garbage. Speaking of puddles of garbage, Tatanka hits all kinds of big moves. Backdrop. Clothesline. Hip toss. Japanese arm drag. And like three quarters of this match, Tatanka's just in control, beating up Owen, except for like a middle spot where like Owen gets heat with chin lock and sleeper hold. He also does a really nice missile drop kick and gut wrist suplex. Very cool. But the majority of this match is Owen selling his ass off for Tatanka's offense. It's like he's doing this shit where it's like Owen, like, because we've gotten to see him more now. He has like a particular style of selling. He doesn't really oversell. He sells kind of like Brett, but as a heel. It's interesting. Like he takes the crazy turnbuckle spots, and then he'll do this shit where it's like he's standing there like dazed, like he's about to just fucking collapse. He's pretty good at that, but he like Tatanka starts coming back though after Owen's getting his heat. He like no sells some turnbuckle shots. And he starts chopping the shit out of him. And he does a top rope chop for 2, running power slam for 2. Owen gets up, shoots Tatanka off, ducks for a backdrop. Tatanka tries to sunset flip him, but Owen just like stacks him up for 3 out of nowhere and pins him. And then I'm like, see, this is the same finish IRS and Mabel had, but it was better here. It's the same formula. Owen got his ass kicked for 3/4 of the match, and he just pinned him and beat him, but Owen didn't cheat.
We did it through wrestling. He out wrestled him. It also
was wrestling.
that like Tatanka's running around and like this is one thing I don't like about Tatanka's setup is that through his wrestling and his ring work, he works that stupid fucking dance in at times it doesn't make sense. Like the ref will be in the way, or the person he's actively like running away from the person, and it makes like really awkward transitions sometimes. For him
Yeah.
to start to do the dance and then go, but like it doesn't make sense because the person's right there. It's like, why are you dancing?
You know what I would do if it was me in that situation? I would just roll out of the ring.
Fucking just like move the fuck out of the way when he goes for one of those chops and just like leave.
Just roll when he starts doing that shit where he's prancing around the ring like a fairy. Just roll out of the ring and just.
Oh my god, that'd been some pretty good heat if someone rolled out and then just like started like prancing outside the ring, making fun of him. Like, look at me, yeah. That'd been pretty funny.
I thought it was a decent match though. Probably Tatanka's best match he's had for a while. It happens like every other time we see him in a match because he's wrestling like Shawn Michaels or some shit. This time it was Owen Hart.
Yep.
Yeah, Tatanka's only good as the shoulders that are holding him up.
Ooh, yes. I think I'm starting to think that's true given the pattern we've seen. I give us a 6.5 out of 10 though.
Okay.
Oh, well, you were much higher on it than I was. I mean, I just gave it a 6. It's good, but like it was fine. But Tatanka's moveset's just really limited. I feel weird when I can watch someone do their moveset, and I'm like, I have 0 ring experience, but I think I could choreograph that. I think I could do that now. That's not good. Like, I wouldn't look good. I'd be flabby and shit. It'd be ugly, but I could do it, and that's probably not a good thing.
Well, Tatanka gets flabby later, so we can see what that looks like.
It probably looks, as our friend Lex would say, just despicable. Fucking Daffy Ducks it. Still, every time gets me. I laugh every time.
Yeah, I gave this a little bit more higher than the Razor and Bam Bam, just because it's Owen Hart. Because Owen Hart is amazing in like everything that he does. So I give this a 6.7 out of 10. But I do have some Art Donovan fucking quotes here.
Good. I was gonna ask because I didn't remember anything he said in this match. I don't know why.
Me either.
Because the match was fucking interesting. But Art asked how much Tatanka weighs, even though the announcer said it, and Gorilla and Savage ignore him. So he proceeded to ask again, and finally Randy answers him.
Gorilla's strategy is to just ignore this fucking guy because most of the show he never answers anything he says almost.
Yep. Art also exclaimed that they're killing each other after the missile drop kicks that they were giving each other. Also, Art jokes that there will be a lot of Indians mad if Tatanka loses. So I guess there's a lot of Indians that are mad.
Do you remember that? I will give something. I feel like I'm all negative when I'm criticizing. I will give Tatanka credit on one very specific thing because I don't like his overhand chop thing because he just does it way too much and it just doesn't look like it would cause the impact it does. But he does have a good drop kick.
Mm-hmm.
Tatanka can do some things good, like his drop kick's good, his arm drag's good.
He's got some clean fundamentals. He's got a really nice drop kick. I'll give him that.
He's okay. He's wrapped up in that fucking gimmick and silly. It's something. He's an 80s wrestler in the 90s. That's like what he is. But I scored this match what I did mostly because of Owen. If it was like anybody else in that match, it would be lower.
Yeah, it would be like a 5 probably.
That's how I felt about it being a 6. I think a 6 is very respectable because Tatanka feels like a 5 at best.
Well,
and Owen brought him up a whole point, but I can't give it a whole lot more.
To me, Tatanka has got carried to a better match, and like I've seen a lot of Tatanka matches now. This one's one of the better ones. But let's see. Now we're in the back with Petting Zoo again. They really need like somebody else. Like it's very clear it's just him. It's kind of like when you watch like AEW and it's always like that fucking guy who always looks like he's about to shit himself every time he's on camera.
Alex Martinez. Yeah.
God, they really need to get somebody else. He's back there with HBK and Diesel, and they show some footage from the King's Court. That's Jerry Lawler's talk show on there, where Diesel and HBK ganked Brett, and Diesel gave him a jackknife, and then Brett sold it like his soul left his body. Basically. And Sean's not really broken up about it. And Diesel's like, tonight I'm going to get both belts. And then Petting Zoo says Brett's supposed to have a family member in his corner, even the odds out. And asks Sean who he thinks it'll be. And Sean says, it won't be anybody because the Hearts always fight each other. I'm like, what? I was thinking it was Bulldog maybe because Bulldog's out of WCW now, but I was wrong.
Now we get something even better in my opinion, but weird.
Bulldog shows up later, I think. Also, Diesel's not quite there promo-wise yet. He was still kind of like awkward.
It was weird, yeah. I was about to say, like, I know, like, you know, you see WCW Monday Nitro, Kevin Nash, and he's all like cool and all that stuff. And this one, he's like an in between of like Vinny Vegas and like a little bit of
Super Shredder.
Yeah, like Shredder.
No, he's in that mode. Like he's supposed to act like kind of crazy, but at the same time, like he's not cool Diesel yet. He's not there yet.
He's not Big Daddy Cool. Like that's the thing is he's not Oz, right? Like
he's not Oz.
It's like Oz and like Super Shredder's cool, but like he didn't talk. You don't go by that. So like he's getting there. He's like building up to it, but he just doesn't have like the chops yet. Also, I just wonder like have we just not got there yet with like the fuck it in our system? You know, he's heading into that level of drugs and beans that he needs. Like once that happens, he's like, I don't give a fuck what I say, and then he just says what he wants, and it turns out people like that, and that's what makes like the whole thing take off. But
yeah.
Hey, he doesn't go like to the ring with a beer bottle and do a promo like WCW.
God damn. So next match is Double J, Jeff Jarrett versus 1-2-3 Kid for another King of the Ring match.
I can't wait until we get to the fucking Art Donovan quotes. But
this is where I took note that the laser tunnel kicks ass because of Jarrett's entrance. He just kind of stood there and like bashed in the lasers. Mm-hmm. And you saw his like light up glasses and shit, and I'm like, I need a pair of those fucking sunglasses really bad.
You could probably make them.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's some ones you can buy now, not have to make them. Back then, you probably had to make them.
Well, you can get the LED like where you could like stick it onto like I don't know cheap pair of sunglasses.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna search for more gimmicks for the show later. Art Donovan asks who the 1-2-3 Kid is, and I was like, poor guy. He just seems like he's 2 steps behind everything. This is after he came out. Like he was already in the ring, and then Macho Man's like, he's basically an underdog, man. And then Donovan's like, he looks like a boxer, and I'm like, the fuck?
He's built like a boxer.
Like, what kind of boxer? I mean, I guess a fly. I don't.
Maybe. Rocky Maivia, maybe?
He's a bantamweight champion.
A bantamweight? Because he's like small. I'm like, when people are thinking of boxers right now in this period of time, they're thinking of heavyweights.
Oh, you're thinking of Field, Tyson, Foreman.
Yeah, like he's thinking about boxers back in his day, like
the
fucking
Great
Ali
Depression
and shit.
Oh, I just say, man, he must have eaten time traveling meat. He's like, that guy looks like Manny Pacquiao with a mullet.
Yeah.
We talked about this before, though. It's deceptive. 1-2-3 Kid looks small because he's got that lean look, but he's actually a pretty big guy.
He's like, tall.
Yeah, Sean Waltman's actually really tall, but he's just got that like really slender build right now. Like later on, he gets a little more jacked. I mean, he's shredded. Oh, he's shredded now, but it's a whole different thing.
Well, he's not Dunkaroo fucking 1-2-3 Kid anymore.
Right.
Dunkaroos. Hey, he's moved on from that gear. Now he's Harley Davidson 1-2-3 Kid.
That's wonderful.
Kid, this is one of my favorite spots of the whole show. Kid scares Double J away with martial arts. He just starts doing like martial arts katas, and Jeff Jarrett's like, "Oh my god!" He's like, "Back." I don't know how to deal with this Korean shit. Like that was like what his reaction was. I would think is what he would say. But Jarrett grabs Kid's leg and he drags him out to the floor, and he just starts brutalizing him. And he's like getting heat. And Kid takes a hard turnbuckle. Double J's basically taking advantage because he's bigger and shit. And then he goes for a drop kick and he misses and he face plants and sells it, which is pretty great. He's like, oh, he gets up like holding his nose. And then Kid like goes for a victory roll. It's like he jumps from behind on him, jumps on his shoulders, and rolls forward. I'm like, damn, that was smooth. But he kicked out at 2. And then Double J regains control for a little bit again. And then Kid's able to come back. His leg Larry scoop slam. And he goes for a cannonball senton, but Jeff Jarrett rolls out of the way and he splats. He hits the fucking mat. And then Jeff's like, you see, I'm smart. And Jarrett puts Kid on the ropes. He goes for like the rope attack teabag move, but Kid escapes and Jarrett splits his nutsack in twain right there. He goes, oh! And he's like, oh! And he's like, I think Art Donovan says he said something about he hurt 2 of his things or some shit. He said like a really weird roundabout way of he hit his nuts.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what he said. It was odd. But I think Gorilla saved it. He's like, he's doing a little Tennessee 2-step there. I'm like, good one.
Mm-hmm.
Kid gets on turnbuckle to do something. Jarrett stops him. The Kid shoves him off, and he hits a crossbody for 2. And then he does martial arts offense. He's hitting a bunch of kicks and shit. And he throws Jarrett in the corner. He goes for something, but Jarrett dodges at the last minute, and Kid takes like this weird, nasty bump where it's like, I don't know what he's trying to do. It almost looked like he was going to monkey flip him, but he hit like the middle rope and like flipped backwards and landed on the back of his head. And then Double J notices this, and he's like holding his leg too. He starts working his leg, does a figure 4. When he hooks his figure 4 in, Kid rolls over, cradles him, and gets the 3. Yeah.
Wrestling.
And then the best part happened after that. Jarrett got pissed off and he killed him with 3 pile drivers and fist dropped him like 3 or 4 times from the top rope.
Yeah, I liked it, but I also didn't like how they followed it up later. Because think about it, he took 3 fucking pile drivers. He did, and then Jeff Jarrett did some weird fucking thing off of the top rope where he like didn't hit him, but like made it look like he hit him. Kind of thing.
He does a fist drop like how I think Lex Luger would do a fist drop. It's like he's terrified that he's gonna break his leg or some shit. He jumps on, he like flails his arms, then he like does his fist drop, and I'm like, it doesn't look good. It's not like Jerry Lawler's fist drop, where he looks like scared, like he's gonna break something every time he does it.
Yeah, but he does like 3 pile drivers, and like
during pile drivers.
Yeah, during that time, like pile drivers were insane. Like if you got hit with that, like even if you got hit with one after a long not a long match, but just a match, you would think he'd be done for the night. But
it was a move where if you hit, like, it might not finish a guy anymore right now, but it could. But it was illicit and like you'd always get that. It's kind of like a DDT still. Like when you would still see a guy hit a DDT, they go because it shit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I like the beatdown because it did what I kind of thought it would. It was weird though. It's like I thought Kid would. We'll get to it later, but
you already did all the Art Donovan quotes, but you missed one where I fucking bursted out laughing, and this is when he randomly calls Double J a cutie.
A cutie.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And Gorilla and Randy just silent.
What do you say to that? You can't say anything on air that would be the proper response.
Yeah, fucking Art Donovan over here using 1950s slang gamer words. You can't say it, and they just moved on. Like, just pretend he didn't say it. Don't humor him, Randy. Just don't say. I can see
call him a poof or something. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Decent match. Good post-match beatdown angle. I gave it a 6.2 out of 10.
Yeah, I gave it a 6.3. I said 1, 2, 3, Kid. Martial arts. He fucking does. He looked a little jumpy. Like, he had a lot of fucking energy, man. And I thought Jeff Jarrett was great. And he's a great heel where he's like, I'm going to make everybody fucking boo me. So I'm just going to hit 3 pile drivers and then, weird top rope things and then walk out of here.
Most awkward fist drop ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, Top Rope, Jeff Jarrett and Top Rope weren't exactly a collaboration meant for anything great, but everything else about Jeff Jarrett is just wonderful. He's definitely one of those guys that's in the conversation of people who was one of the best people that wrestled for WWF that didn't win the big belt. Like he's one of them. Like I don't think he ever gets brought up in that conversation enough because there's so many obvious choices, but he's definitely in that conversation too. But that said, I gave it a 6.4. I thought it was a really good match. I was entertained. Our dog would have you laughing the whole time, just saying a bunch of really dumb shit because it's like he's just not paying enough attention, and everything he's asking can just happen. So.
Well, Savage says something funny at the end too. He's like, "Double J, you're infamous. That doesn't mean you're famous. That means you're infamous."
Yeah, there's a difference. So after this, there's like a really interesting video package they show where Gorilla's like, the new generation is live and well in the World Wrestling Federation, and they show this package of like there's like old black and white footage of stuff happening, like cars, like old jalopies, and then you see like 90s NASCAR, you see like Mark Martin Valvoline fucking going by, and then you see like old shitty fucking airplanes, and then you see like fucking fighter jets, the Blue Angels, and then and then it shows like old wrestling, and then it shows Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, Iron Sheik, and I think the other guy was Ivan Putski. I'm not real sure. And then it's like new generation. It's like Razor Ramon, Mabel, Owen Hart, Jeff Jarrett, 1, 2, 3 Kid. And I'm like, that's interesting. The way they presented that. I'm like,
that was so deliberate. Like Hulk Hogan is definitely like trying to like pull some shade on Hulk Hogan, and May's like, look at this dinosaur. We've moved on. I'm not jealous. I'm not upset at all about the breakup. Like I've moved on. Bret Hart is my lover now.
I really think it was weird that he put like the other people he included in that. Those like Iron Sheik, Ivan Putski, and Andre. Like why Andre? Like what the fuck? What did he do?
Well, I mean, I guess at this point, though, like at least in terms of WWF, like they are a bit older. Like they're much older than Hogan was when he was wrestling then. Like they right, like they had retired and stuff. Maybe not Sheik, but like Andre was already done by then. Although Andre also and actually Sheik too. Didn't they go and do this stuff over in California with Crazy Cocaine Dude? I know Andre was involved in that.
Crazy Cocaine. Oh, you mean Snuka?
No, the guy. Oh shit, what's his name? The guy that like made his own wrestling promotion, like UPW or something like that.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, a bunch of people got pissed off like 90 because that was like what 93, 94 when that happened, and a ton of people went over there and worked his show and stuff. And Vince like lost out on a bunch. Like Andre was interested, and I think Bruno, which he and Bruno didn't have a great relationship then anymore anyway. But like, I think there were a lot of stalwarts that you wouldn't otherwise think that Vince would put under or throw under the rug. But given that time, like Vince is still a vindictive person in that way. Like he'll be petty enough if like you do something that makes him upset. Well, then he has no problem like doing something that like slights you a little bit on air. I mean, clearly, and the Hogan thing. I mean, it's justified with what happened. But and again, it's fine. Like it's not like it's some big ordeal or anything. Just I agree. It's a little strange though.
I would have put Ultimate Warrior in there, and I'm trying to think of somebody else I don't like. I don't know. I wouldn't have put Sheiky Baby in there.
Oh, poor Sheiky Baby. He just got it, and Twitter didn't exist yet. Oh man, my man, if he only knew what Twitter's turned into, he'd be like,
Wildfire is
like, look at my ex. Fuck Hulk Hogan, ex.
Fucking bullshit. Let's see, another petting zoo segment, but he's with Bret Hart this time, and he shows some footage of. He tries to show footage at first of Bret Hart getting killed, and then he shows it to him. And he's like, what do you think about that? I always thought that's like the most awkward shit ever, where they're like, watch this footage of you getting your ass kicked. And then it's like, and then they're just like, what do you think about that?
So it's such an awkward thing, and Bret Hart has my favorite response ever to it, because a lot of other wrestlers will do that. well, he won't do that again.
Yeah. At first he was like, that's the most painful move I've ever taken, but I don't think he's going to ever be able to do it again to me.
Yeah. Well, who are you? Fucking Goku from Dragon Ball? It's like, I've already learned it. You can't get me twice with that. That's a deep word right there. But he's not wrong, I guess.
He's not really wrong. So, but he's like, Brett says Diesel's mistake is overestimating himself and underestimating him, brother. And Brett's made a career of not ducking anybody, and he's going to get Diesel down to his size and fucking beat his ass and pin him.
Mm-hmm.
And then Peg Zoo's like, Brett, who's the family member that's going to help him? And then Brett's like, you'll just find out in a minute. And he just leaves. And
yeah, like, what the fuck, Petting Zoo? Like, he's about to go out. You're about to find out. Like, why?
Like, what difference did it make? He's going to find out in like 90 seconds or some shit.
I want you to be more animated. He'd be like, Jesus, Petting Zoo. Just wait a minute. Hold your horses.
And probably he's like standing off to the side and Petting Zoo just being like an Art Donovan and not fucking looking.
Maybe. How do you hide Jim Neidhart anyway? What the fuck?
Neidhart's actually watching the promo as he asked him, and he's like behind him, like, dude, what the fuck? Oh, not yet. I'm supposed to just come out.
You hear like, like somewhere, like you just hear that off fucking, like a random room or some shit. You don't know where it came from. Oh my god, Brett's promos are getting better, by the way.
Yes.
He's getting a lot more smooth. He still stutters a little bit, but he looks a lot more confident and he sounds that way.
Fucking love that belt, by the way. Jeez.
Oh yeah, everybody flubs the line once in a while, so I don't get as upset about that as other people do. Only like when the shit sucks, like when IRS did it. He was just saying a bunch of bullshit that didn't even fucking matter, so it sucked.
Yeah, when you flub on shit you already don't care about hearing, it's that much worse.
Yeah.
That's just how it goes.
When you're like Roman Reigns, you're like, I'm going to declare. And he like looks at the camera like, fuck. He's like, I flubbed my line. Big deal. Like, what the fuck?
Like when Scott Steiner flubbed his line, I'm a big movie. I'm
the big bad boo daddy. You don't have to tell me. Like, he embraced it. He fully embraces it at that point when he flubs the line.
Scott, there's 7 days in a week.
I'm the big bad boo. I invented time. You don't know what you're talking about.
It's the best.
So, the next match is Diesel with HBK versus Bret Hart with Jim Neidhart for the WWF World Title.
Love Diesel's fucking entrance, just a fucking truck horn.
Does he have the most annoying entrance music next to Right to Censor right now? Because I feel like it's up there.
It is, especially at the post match when it just keeps playing and it's literally just the. We need something else.
Well, he doesn't become Big Daddy Cool yet, so he's But Anvil's Brett. I thought it would be Bulldog. Also, Brett's got his classic entrance theme now. He's got the actual Hitman theme everybody really knows. He's like, okay, he switched his music. Cool. He just got it recently.
Yeah, no, this is perfect. Like he has that like iconic music now, and Owen has his music that's set up. It's close enough, but it's still different, and it's like that fork in the road where their music's different. It's like the heel heart music.
Yeah,
it's good. Yeah.
There's a lot of shit happens in this match, and I'm not going to try to like go over it a lot because I actually did write a lot of notes, but I can't do that. I don't want to do that. I'm just going to kind of talk about it in general. We can just talk about it, take turns. I noticed first off right away, Diesel throws really bad forearms. He shouldn't do that. They just look really awkward. I guess it's because his fucking limbs are so long. It's like, how do you throw a good forearm? It's just going to look kind of weird no matter how you do it. He should just stick to punching the guy, which he did later. He set Brett up and just went like arched back as far as he could and went bam, like right in his face. Like, just do that. Like,
yeah, he hasn't learned that big guy style, like how like Kane or Taker learn how to punch, where you like do like the underhand or the uppercut type of thing. And I didn't realize like when they did that at first, I always thought it was kind of strange, like why do they punch like that? But it's literally because of the size. Like it actually makes it look like a cell punch. It's so much better. So I agree. Diesel he still looks green.
He's still
to be honest. Yeah, that's okay.
It's fine.
He's Baby
Uh,
Diesel.
Brett's basically this match is Brett running circles around Diesel and out wrestling him. He works his leg over a lot. He's doing submissions. Diesel's not looking good. Brett even throws out a spinning toe hold in 1994. I thought that was brave. and it got a reaction. There's a spot. This is one of my favorite spots. Was when Brett's hitting Diesel's leg on the post. He's like wrapping his leg around the post out there, doing that shit. And then, like out of frame, you see Sean running full speed at him, and he just levels him with a clothesline. I was like, "Oh,
dude!" The camera work in this match was great. Every time, you'd see it would like go from Diesel and then like pan over to where Brett was. Fucking Shawn Michaels with that clothesline. It looked fucking legit when it did that pan.
He's good. And then this is another good part. It was right after this clothesline. Anvil is like, "You motherfucker!" And he starts trying to chase Sean, and he can't catch him. He even tries crawling through the ring ropes underneath to the other side to get him.
Impressive, by the way.
Yeah, he can't catch him. Anvil's fast for a guy that big, but he's not fast enough.
There's something really important about this, and it was so strange because I'd forgotten about, I just didn't remember anything about this match. Or later on in the finals match of the King of the Ring stuff and what happens there. But Jim Neidhart only reacts after something's happened. Like he's reacting, everything he does is a reaction, and it's almost a delayed reaction, but it's after something's already happened screwy with Brett. So and there's only one time I think where he he's already in the corner and he proactively just takes Sean and hits him to stop him from doing something. But they'd already engaged, so it didn't matter. But he waits until Sean has done something. They've already done something fucky before he jumps in. He doesn't try to prevent it. He lets it happen and then jumps in, which again seemed a little strange. And then of course the ending where he helps to prevent what happens and then causes the DQ, but then leaves instead of staying there and lets Brett get his ass kicked. And I was like, well, that's just really weird. But they had a plan, so it's okay.
It's okay. It worked.
It actually made sense. I was happy with that because I was like, well, that's strange, but okay. And then I was like, okay, that was good.
Then let's see. There's a spot where Brett tries to do a dive, but he misses and he hits the floor. And this is where Diesel just takes over. He's just hitting him with power moves and wearing him down at this point. Brett takes a couple turnbuckles. And then Sean, while Diesel's wearing him down, he's Sean's out there trying to untie a turnbuckle pad, and he does it over time. He doesn't do it all at once, which I liked.
Mm-hmm.
He just bury the referee and shit. He's watching. And and then he's oh shit. And he jumps down and just kind of walks around and pripping his hair, doing some bullshit out there. he'll jump back up there and get back to work on it. Then he gets Diesel's attention. He points out, hey, look. Okay. And then he distracts the referee. Something's going on, and then Diesel tries to throw Brett in the turnbuckle. But Brett throws his head in the turnbuckle instead. And I like this because Diesel got punch drunk. It's it fucked him up, but it didn't knock him out. And he's swinging. He's throwing phantom punches, basically. Mm-hmm. And then Brett's just teeing off on him at this point. He's just hitting him in the head, gets him in the corner, punches the shit out of him. And I like this spot where they're in the corner and Brett tried to do a backslide. But then, he couldn't get him down. And Diesel was trying to get him over. And then, what he decided to do is he just got to the corner, did, a backflip off of the turnbuckle. And then he was in front of Diesel. And he just drops down and does an inside cradle. I'm like, man, that was fucking smooth shit right there.
Mm-hmm.
Wrestling.
Nice. I thought that could have been the match there. I actually did. I was like, oh, fuck. And then he kicked out. I was like, wow, I thought he got him.
Mm-hmm.
Then a bunch of stuff happens. And I was too busy watching. This was more chaos shit, though, but in a good way. Brett clocks Sean on the apron. And he goes flying.
Holy shit, he punches the shit out of him.
He goes, bam, and then Sean, leaps off the fucking apron and just eats the security railing, and he's, dead. And then, Diesel gets drop kicked outside, then Anvil looks like he's going to, attack him. And then he just decides not to. And I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, I was like, that was weird.
Yeah,
and then
that's
they said
strange.
that. They brought it up too.
Mm-hmm.
And then Diesel attacks him anyway because he doesn't know about any of this shit. So he just hits him. And I'm like, Neidhart will remember that. Like, that's like what that was. While that was going on, Sean clocked Brett in the back of the head with the title because the ref was distracted with all the shit that was going on outside. And Diesel tries to pin Brett, but Brett kicks out. He kicks out of a title shot from the back of the head. So Diesel hits a jackknife. He did hit it. But Brett was attacked from behind with a fucking metal object, so, who cares? But Anvil comes in, he gets payback on Diesel, and he causes Brett to get DQ'd. So, see, Anvil remembered that.
And then he just leaves.
And he leaves!
Yeah.
Like, Earl Hebner yells at him, like, what are you doing? And then Neidhart's like, fuck! And he just leaves. And then HBK and Diesel kick Brett's ass. No help at all.
Yeah, and this is what's strange. You can actively hear, like, slams, and you can hear... Like, there's no way that Neidhart can't hear Brett getting attacked, but he never turns around. He just continues to walk, and it's so strange, except it's not. It was, again, it's intentional, spoilers, because he's going to make the old turn, but it made way more sense once that was all clarified. But at first it was just really strange. And, at this like, age, especially with watching weird shit happen in WCW half the time, I'm like almost conditioned to think, well, that looks like a really weird accident they didn't think out. But no, there's actually a reason for this, and it made it so much better because it made sense in the story. So I liked it. It redeemed itself in a great way.
Yeah, at first I was confused too.
Mm-hmm. Now, I thought the match was really good. It's entertaining. I mean, anything that involves Brett and Sean is just awesome. Again, Diesel's a little green, but he's still you could have much worse in there for him being green. So I thought.
Is Earl always the fucking ref for Brett, by the way? Because every time Brett's in a ring, always Earl's there.
I think it got to a point where Brett probably wanted Earl to be the referee for his matches, and I think he's at that point now.
Until that one match.
I mean, that'd be the last one. So for a bit, yeah.
I thought this was a really good match. I know everyone likes to talk about the match Brett and Diesel has at Survivor Series. You know, the one where it's like you see the first table spot in the WWF, which was a really gnarly good one too. But this one I thought was really good in its own right. And I don't know why people don't talk about it. Brett solved the Diesel problem too. Like, what I mean by the Diesel problem is he's not that good of a worker yet. And I mean, Kevin Nash isn't really known for his in-ring work anyway. But Brett basically made a match where he just wrestled all around Diesel. It was all him chopping him down, zipping around him, doing a bunch of stuff, like, fast. And it wasn't like rapid fire, move. It was just him do a move, transition, do a move, do another move, set up this move, do this move over and over and over. But I give it a 7.9 out of 10.
Oh, damn. Wow. That was, you were hype on it. I mean, I thought it was good. Woo, you were high on it. I'm curious. Oh, go ahead. What were you going to say?
Well, I was going to say, with all the shenanigans, Brett pulling a good match out of Diesel, basically, stuff like that. Sean was great in his role outside. It just all came together. It's like, I mean, this is my WWF hill, I guess. I really like Bret Hart. I don't try to fucking disguise that or anything. He's probably my favorite wrestler. Mm-hmm. So,
we're definitely there. Like, I mean, Sting is going to be my all-time because a weird hill I'll die on, but Bret is right there with him. Like, they are together.
I'm coming to like Sting a lot. Like, we're going to talk about that later too. But like, not that like I was like never like I don't care about Sting. It's just I was like, yeah, Sting's cool. But like seeing more of Sting when he's younger, when he's Surfer Sting, man, I love Sting's matches back then. They're so fucking good. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Yeah, we're just fans of Coke and Pepsi. That's all it is, right?
Yeah.
But Dubs, what did you give the match?
Well, I gotta give my Art Donovan quotes here.
What's the Art Donovan update?
Oh yeah.
So he asks if Shawn Michaels is one of the wrestlers. That was one.
Oh yeah, he did. He's like, is he a wrestler too?
Yeah.
Well, I guess he looks weird. Like, he just comes out and he's wearing like chaps and he's like, what the fuck is that guy's problem?
Well, this just proves the point what Chaz was making is like he knows nothing about wrestling, so like he doesn't know. Like if you would ask anybody like who's not religiously watching wrestling, they'll still know the stars. But like, oh, Shawn Michaels, I know that guy. They call him gay and stuff because you'll see it like on the the news or magazines and stuff.
No, Shawn is great.
He's a pretty boy. But no, what's funny is I remembered Randy's response to what he said. He's like, is he a wrestler? I was like, yeah, he used to be the Intercontinental Champion. And Art Donovan goes, oh, like, no way. That
I didn't catch that.
I regarded that. The way he responded, like he was genuinely shocked that Shawn Michaels could have been a champion.
Damn.
And after Neidhart was like running after Shawn Michaels, Art was impressed, and then Savage had to mention that he was a football player, and he was like, "Oh, really?
He played for the Raiders, yeah, man." Like he told him.
Mm-hmm.
He also asked about Diesel, and he got ignored after that.
What do you say about Diesel?
Yeah, that's when Randy was like, he was the Shredder, and he was like, what?
That's what I would say. He was the Super Shredder, man.
So, remember when he called fucking Jeff Jarrett a cutie? So after Shawn Michaels talks trash to Savage, Art offers to get undressed and be Randy's second.
What?
Yeah,
I missed that.
Yeah, he's like, I got you. I'll back it. He thought it was real. They were talking shit, so he was like, yeah, I'll fight him. I'll beat it. This little fairy's ass. That's basically.
He was just so unimpressed with Shawn Michaels. Damn, man. Like, he just savaged him.
Which is ironic because, like, Shawn Michaels is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, right? Like,
But just to look at the guy with no context.
Right. No, absolutely. And then he looks at 1, 2, 3 kid and is like, he's built like a boxer. Like, this guy's all over the place, and it's fucking great.
yeah.
It's weird. He didn't say anything about Brett. It's funny. It's because they're similar size, but it's like Brett just looks like more like a serious wrestler guy. I don't know. It's just,
Maybe because he held back Game Awards because he's wearing pink or something. I don't know. He's
That's
like,
the end. He's like, oh, he's dead. Is he okay?
he's fine, brother.
One last thing I wanted to mention is that Art compares this match to David and Goliath, and Gorilla says, we know what happened in that story. And then Art replies, yeah, hit him with a rock.
Yeah, he hit him with a rock. It was a big rock.
Yeah. But, man, watching Bret Hart, man, especially when Diesel is green as shit, it was still good to watch. So I gave this a 7.7 out of 10.
See, we're there.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah,
there.
you guys were, I'm a little lower, but I mean, I'm still in a good range. I gave it a 7. You guys got me up a little. I'll bump it just a teeny bit. At 7.4. I was at 7.3.
Nice.
I mean, it's a good match.
We disagree.
We disagree? All right, 8. Fine.
It's not Sting. That's the only reason why you didn't get score as high. If it was fucking Sting versus Diesel, you would have gave it an 8.8.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, hold on. Let me go back. 5.5 needs more face paint.
If it was Sting in the fucking Tokyo Dome where he destroyed Rick Rude's fucking disc, you would have gave it like 9.
Oh, that's wonderful. No, it was a really good match. Again, like you said, I mean, it's just like a perfect example of how Brett is like just the penultimate wrestler. Like he just elevates anyone he's with. Like Diesel had, and again, he shows it later on. It's not like, don't get me wrong, Diesel gets better, especially as he gets into the flow of his character, and then he gets to wrestle a little bit better. But he has some real shit matches we're going to cover over the next year or two. Like there's some real stinkers out there because he's the guy that's supposed to carry all of a sudden, and he's not in that position to do that. But Brett makes him look so good.
I mean, to Kevin Nash's own credit, he doesn't have some self-inflated, ridiculous opinion of himself either as like a wrestler.
No, yeah,
He's gone on record said Bret Hart gave me the best match of my entire career. He's talking about the Survivor Series match I mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I never had a match as good as that after that. Like, it didn't happen. It didn't happen before that. So, there you go.
Yep, there it is. We just got a taste this time. This was the sampler.
Mm-hmm.
We got too much Ted Pettinzu.
That's why I was saying they need to get fucking somebody else. They don't have. I'm sorry, they don't have Doc Hendricks yet, or fucking Sonny's not here yet to take the load off of fucking Pettinzu.
Soon.
He's back there, Jerry Lawler, and Jerry Lawler, he just goes on a tear on this. He goes like, he said Pettinzu looks like a Sears men's shop model. Just fucking shit on him immediately. And then he says like Art Donovan is living proof that wisdom does not come with age, which fucking got me.
He also said that Art's first job was parking covered wagons.
And then Pettinzu mentioned something that's like, your match with Piper tonight. Piper declared his winnings would be donated to a children's hospital in Toronto. And then King declares that he will see to it personally that those brats in Canada don't see a dime. I was like,
yeah, Jerry Lawler said "fuck them kids" before "fuck them kids" was a thing. Basically,
he laughed about it. He looked like an evil villain. Just like, and I was like, damn, Jerry Lawler hates Canadian children, I guess. I don't know. Oh, it was funny. You got Razor Ramon versus IRS, semifinal.
I like how we go from that. It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna.
Oh
talk
yeah,
about
IRS.
IRS.
Like, you just felt my mood drop. I was laughing about King, and then all fucking IRS is here, even though he's in the fucking ring with Razor.
I had a bad joke that came to mind. I feel bad about it because poor Lawler's had so much happen to him. I was like, he was probably angry and wanted those kids to suffer because they were too old for him.
Oh.
Yeah, I feel bad. But then you made the comment you did, so it was like perfect blend of me going from an awful thing and guilt to you just like, oh, now we got to listen to IRS. And I was like, oh, yeah, purgatory again. Let's do it.
He comes out with the fucking microphone again. And
God, he fucked up again.
Yeah, the second time to pay tax. If you paid your taxes, I wouldn't talk about having a stroke.
I still have sweat marks on my white t-shirt. You can see my nipple.
That's so much.
Don was like, why is he wearing suspenders? That can't be aerodynamic.
Aerodynamic? What?
They can't be aerodynamic.
Oh!
Aerodynamic.
Aerodynamic. Whoa. But, yeah, he comes out of the mic. He's trying to insult Razor. He calls him a fool's gold wearer, tax cheat, like he fucked up. And I was just like, fuck, this gimmick sucks. And he's so checked out. And I'm like, Razor gets to drop on him when he's outside jaw jacket with a fan. And then, I don't know, Razor made it bearable with a couple funny bits. He slams IRS's head to steel steps. And then the referee's like, what are you doing? And then Razor's like, fuck it, man. He didn't give a shit. He just like shrugged.
Did you hear what he said? Like, he deserves his ass beaten.
Yeah. And then he like beals IRS across the ring by his tie, which I thought was cool. Then he hits the Razor's edge and gets a 3, and I'm like, good riddance.
Yeah. Awesome.
5.2.
I just want to point out too, Razor, I think actually is the prototype. It's a weird thing to say. He's like the prototype for Stone Cold in that he's like the first bad guy that everybody wants to cheer for.
It's true. Like
it is.
When he turned face with the 1, 2, 3 kid shit, he didn't really change his behavior that much. He just kind of slightly adjusted it to where it was like he was doing his shit to the heels now instead. And that's all it was.
And he told the people that would have his jewelry, he said it in a nice way. He's like, don't lose this, man, okay? Like
Something
when he used to,
yeah.
when he was heel, he's like, you better not fucking lose. I'll fucking kill you.
Yeah, he like handing, like throw shit at people. Now he's like gently handing stuff off. He's like subtle things, but like he still does like underhanded stuff when he wrestles because he's still the bad guy. Especially if someone pisses him off and they deserve it, which is like the most 90s thing to ever do right now. It's like that, like X-Men, like Wolverine type of thing. Like it's that anti-hero. Like it just fits perfect blend with that entire like subculture or generation. But yeah, no, he definitely is like the prototype for that. We were talking before about Stone Cold just beating everybody's ass and everybody loves it. Like
Vince is probably playing with that a little bit with him. Yeah,
absolutely.
to do comparisons, since like he's kind of mimicking Al Pacino and Scarface, when he's a face is when Scarface is talking about the pelicans and the fucking hot tub. Oh, fucking pelicans. And he's like doing like fucking noises and shit. And then when he's a heel, he's in the restaurant where he's calling his fucking skinny, coke-headed fucking whore of a wife. And then he says, look at me, I'm the fucking bad guy. And then he's like,
say hello to the bad guy.
yeah.
Like, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
man. What'd you guys give this match?
Oh, I gave it a 5.1. I was like, the 0.1 is for Razor. And there's not a lot of Art Donovan thing. He had to be reminded that it was Razor Ramon, even though he picked him.
It's your guy.
He forgot. He's like, oh, yeah.
And then obviously this is the part where the leverage of the ropes, which we touched on before, and that's it.
Oh, so I time traveled. So this is the leverage thing. My bad. Yeah. There we go. It's a time traveling meat. Got me again. Every time at Domino's, they get me. I gave this a 5.4. It was fine. It was serviceable. Razor Ramon just is great. It's hard not to have anything great that he does. And he's working with IRS. It's a pile of shit, but he's still making it work.
Mm-hmm.
He did something to make it work.
Beat his ass. That's what he did.
They show like a brief backstage segment where Brett's in the back yelling for Neidhart. He's like storming the fucking arena looking for him.
How many bathrooms were in that place?
Where are you?
Yeah, he was fucking pissed. When he goes off camera, you hear, "Where is he?" It's like, fuck. But yeah, I don't know, man. There was a lot of dressing rooms and bathrooms and shit. And again, I have to ask a question: how does this guy hide? He's like,
massive.
what the hell? He's massive, and he's also like got a very striking appearance. He's like wearing fucking pink suspender, fucking like tights, and he's got like a red hair and a big goatee, and he's always going. He's always like fucking laughing and shit. He's like the Wario of wrestling or something. Like, I don't know. Like, I think Andy should probably watch Jim Neidhart. I think he'll like him.
He's like always chuckling, and like he's a big guy, so he's not like breathing without anyone noticing that he's breathing. Like you hear him. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you're totally right. Meanwhile, like the shots and like this, just like I think a lot of this is the photography and cinematography at this day and age, in terms of how they record and stuff. Every time they're in these venues and they're shooting the way they are, it almost feels like one or two turns from there, they're going to end up in the fucking Nightmare on Elm Street fucking boiler room. I'm like, shit, what's going to happen? Like, I know it's not going to, but it feels like it could happen.
Subconsciously, I keep thinking we're gonna make a wrong turn and we're gonna find mankind in the fucking bowels of the building or some shit. It's not time for that yet.
Exactly.
The bowels of the building, pal. We got Owen Hart versus 1-2-3 Kid, another semifinal.
Okay, I want to bring this up.
Okay.
I've never seen this King of the Ring. I know that Owen Hart, spoiler alert, is the winner.
Yeah,
but this is where I call bullshit. Where 1-2-3 Kid, either two ways they could have done this. Either A, he doesn't show up and Owen like does the yay, I did it. I win. I go next round and stuff. Or he does come to the ring and then Owen just beats him in the second. But no, we had a full-fledged match, and I'm just like, he should be hurt with 3 pile drivers.
Well, I think he found some beans. That's why. So it worked for Kurt Angle all those years.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, I didn't have a problem with it. I thought it was okay. Like, I actually thought when they first were doing it that he wasn't going to show up. So I was a little disappointed, but then he came out, and then I thought, and then the next thought I had is, oh, well, he's kind of limping out there, so it's gonna be a quick thing. Owen's just gonna finish this and clean it up. And then they had the match they did, and I was like, holy shit, that was awesome. So yeah, I guess the opposite effect.
But Owen fucking kicked him in the beginning, and like the camera guy, I don't even think he knew that was coming. The camera guy.
No.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. I couldn't write notes for this because it moved too fast.
Yes.
And like honestly though, like this was a match that was like this was like the coming out for like I guess what's known now as like the modern American style. That's what this match is.
Mm-hmm.
It was interesting to watch people's reaction to it though, because I was
Macho
noticing
Man.
that out in the crowd, like people were like, "Whoa!" Like holy shit! Like when they were doing like their sequences and stuff. Because at that point, like for a WWF audience, like I would even argue, like the old Crockett territory, the Southern audience hadn't seen wrestling like this.
Yeah, you just couldn't find wrestling like this. Not the way
No.
they're doing it, not this pace.
Yeah, it's like these specific sequences of moves where they transition and like do these counters you just don't expect. Like the kid goes for the fucking head scissors and Owen just power bombs him. Like that wasn't common back then.
This is where Macho and Gorilla like putting them over with like the new generation, pretty much. Like, this is the new generation, man. It's not like the old one.
I think Macho's like, it's a good thing I'm retired. Oh,
Yeah.
But, oh yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, this was like the perfect. These were the perfect guys to showcase this new style, this new in-ring style they want to push, I guess. I don't got much else to say about it. Owen eventually just slaps on a sharpshooter and wins with a submission. It all happens really fast. So like this match is like 5 or 6 minutes or something.
But it is so fast, and it just builds and builds, and like it gets faster and faster and faster, and then it just comes to a head. There is one really great spot where there was a reversal. I think it was a kick attempt from 1-2-3 Kid, but it may have just been a clothesline. But it's a reversal into a German suplex pin that ends up being a near fall. It was fucking beautiful. Like the way he grabbed him it was definitely a kick because he grabbed him mid kick and then turned him and just flipped him over his head. It was outstanding. Yeah, I was really high on this for how it went because it also made sense too. Like 1-2-3 Kid, his whole thing is he just got all this heart and like he's got his moves. He's not going to give up. So they played to that and he just is putting everything into it. Meanwhile, Owen is arrogant. He's still a heel, but it's still built on the back of the fact that he's a phenomenal wrestler.
Yep.
He is just the asshole shade of Brett. Like that's the whole point of it is that he and Brett are on the same or very like right at neck and neck in terms of level of where they're at with wrestling, which is like the best. But he's just a dick about it. So they play into that. And his character at first is like, oh yeah, I got this, and then like he has to build into it. It's gonna sound really weird to compare it to this, but I swear it's where it felt. So I'm getting my weird like Dave Meltzer thing. It almost felt like a miniature version of an Okada match where it started off just a little slow, but then it just revved up and just kept going and going, and then finally something happened. Just instead of a Rainmaker, it finished with him putting him in a submission, but it just. And again, it felt like it lasted a long time, but also an instant, which is a great thing in wrestling. When when you lose time because you're just enthralled in the match. I have no fucking clue what Art Donovan said because I was way too busy just watching the match.
I was like, oh my god, oh shit! Like, yeah.
He didn't. This is the part where Gorilla and Randy just start ignoring him because he asks how much Owen weighed again, even though it mentioned in the beginning, and he didn't know who Owen was again, and they just ignored him.
Yeah, at this point, they're like, I think this man may have dementia. And like, he just keeps forgetting shit. And he's like, are you not seeing it? I don't have time to answer these things. But anyway, I've said enough about it. I gave this an 8.6.
Oh, my God.
Damn.
Very high on this. I love the story with it, too. I just like the whole thing, bought into it.
Yeah. Even though I was disappointed, like, about 1-2-3 Kid coming out, I just based it off of the match itself, ignoring, what happened to him. And yeah, this is WCW Monday Night Nitro Cruiserweight division type of wrestling. Which
before that.
Yeah, before that. And I digged it. This is the type of wrestling that I think AEW should be doing instead of just, ballet and stuff. Even though it's like on that same tempo, but it's a little more real, I guess, in this factor.
It still feels more like a struggle than it does like some choreographed shit.
And there's psychology too. And by the way, I'm gonna die on this hill. Owen Hart, better sharpshooter than Bret Hart.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I like his, but I think Brett's is better.
I like Owens better.
I like The Rock's better.
Oh, fuck you.
Yeah. Well, guys, welcome, or thanks for coming. Podcast is over now. We can't go on because someone said something awful. It's basically a hate crime. The Rock sharpshooter is ass.
It's not good.
It is so bad.
And again, we talked about that in the chat one time. I made that point. It's like, maybe it's because Rock's tall, and I was like, no, Edge is the same height as him, and he does it better too. What the fuck?
It doesn't matter what height. It always looks like it doesn't hurt, but anyone but The Rock, and he looks like he's about to pass a fucking hemorrhoid.
It looks like he's shitting himself
every time.
Yeah,
Oh
I gave it a 7 out of 10. This match.
My score was initially lower, and it wasn't because like I had like a negative reaction to it. It was so fast, it was short, it was good. But then like talking about it out loud with you guys made me get my context straight a little bit more. And then I was like, no, this is a good match. I give 7.2 out of 10.
Okay, yeah. I just like the microcosm of the story too, in that.
Oh yeah.
Kid's got to put everything in because he already has like no chance, right? Owen has to suddenly pick up the pace to keep up because he could lose when he was guaranteed to win, but realizes he just needs to finish it because he can't waste his energy because he has to face Razor next. So they end up just going really hard, like in a quick succession. But it's fucking great. Time stands still.
He's that meme of the guy who's like gaming and he's like leaning in his chair. And then all of a sudden he leans forward.
Oh, he goes forward. The cap goes backward. It's go time. Yeah, nope. That's it.
I liked it though. I liked it a lot though. See, this is the Coke Pepsi. I like the Brett match better. You liked this one a lot better. Here it is.
Yeah. I mean, I will say I don't know if I agree on the whole Owen sharpshooter's better. However, it is really good.
It's honestly, I like them both. I like them equally. I don't know. Like say one's better than the other, but like,
fence sitter. No, I'm kidding.
Fence sitter. Sting's sharpshooter is worse.
See, I was about to say the best sharpshooter is Sting. That's actually the other thing that's so funny about the Coke Pepsi thing is that Sting's finisher is also the sharpshooter, but it's not called the sharpshooter.
Oh, it's the scorpion lock.
Scorpion deathlock. And then he just has the reverse DDT, which I mean still would fucking hurt, especially how he does it. It just a sudden drop. But
if you grab some motherfucker's head from behind and they don't realize what's happening, and you just drop them on their head, I think that you could beat somebody with that.
Yeah. You could kill them if you do it right. But anyway, yeah. So we got our finals ready now at Razor and Owen. But before that, we have a World Tag Team Title match. I think there was
really. We have a cocaine-filled.
There was like
fucking
a weird
legend.
Yeah, like Roddy Piper did this weird promo as another Coliseum video exclusive.
Oh yeah, this is that weird one where he's like plugging the candy bar, and God, it felt cracked out, didn't it?
It was weird. I didn't like it, honestly. I felt like he just didn't have a point, and it was like one of those times where it's like he was improvising and it just didn't hit.
Yeah.
I agree. It was a little lengthy, and it just felt weird.
Well, he did his in between air breathing promo. Yeah. Laura's eating fry.
I don't really got much to say about it because he didn't have a point really. He was just kind of like saying stuff, and then he was like, Jerry Lawler, I'm gonna kick your ass. I did like that he did bring up that Jerry Lawler made fun of that movie he did, Hell Comes to Frogtown. He's like, yeah, you had to pick that one. You had to pick the worst one I did. It couldn't have been They Live. It couldn't have been like he listed like 4 or 5 other movies.
He said you had to pick the movie where I was the only potent man left, and I can tell you it's not me. I laughed at that, and I was like, did he just say he's sterile?
Maybe. I guess he turned it around, made it funny. But then we got the tag match, which was Yokozuna and Majin Crush with Mr. Fuji and Jim Cornette versus, he's not going to be Crush anymore. He's Majin Crush forever now until he changes.
Yeah, and not Mr. Fuji. In this match, he is known because Art Donovan makes it so. Master Fuji. I'm so glad you knew. Master Fuji.
That's Master Fuji. I'm like, what? Captain
He's a
Lou
Kung
Albano.
Fu master.
Yeah. It's head shrinkers with Alpha and Captain Lou Albano. And
Tribal
like,
Chief Albano.
Tribal. I guess he was Paul Heyman before Paul Heyman. But
He's like, by the way, he's like saying "Ooda baba booda da ba." It's like doing Samoan. He's like fucking just saying random shit.
just saying random shit. That tie is a pisser. Some shit like that. I don't know. That's one of the infamous Lou Albano jokes I heard, and I was like, I don't get it. And then it was like you had to be there, kind of thing, apparently, and I wasn't there, so
Yeah.
I don't get it. This match was like kind of borderline chaos, but it was like followable and fun. Yokozuna bumped his ass off for his cousins. I'll give him that. He kept doing this thing where like he'd get in there and wrestle with them a little bit, and then like they would hit like some kind of big strike, Fatu or Samu would like headbutt him or do like a super kick, and then Yokozuna would just like be like, "Oh shit," and then like bounce through the middle rope and fall out on the floor, which you don't really ever see him do. It was just like I said, it was a lot of it was a lot of stuff going on. There's like them fighting outside. There's fighting in the ring. Some guys fighting in the ring. Then you'd see somebody fighting outside for a minute. There was manager shenanigans going on a little bit. Fatu got a super kick on Majin Crush at some point, and then Lex Luger came out to distract him and Yokozuna. He was just like standing there. I'm like, oh yeah, Lex Luger's still here. It was really weird that he like wasn't a part of this show at all, except for like this part.
Well, he's story-wise, he's like feuding with Crush right now. Now it's not even it's specifically Crush, I guess. Something weird happened with Crush.
And that's when I realized, oh no. I stopped caring that Lex Luger was there.
Hey, okay, so he may not have been on the show, but the crowd fucking knew it because they popped. The crowd was all about when Lex showed up.
Yeah,
it was weird. I was like, man, they're still like really behind him.
He's still over right now.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just saying, like, you have this amazing guy who should be fucking champion, but I'm nothing on Brett, but he should have been champion, handing it to Brett at some point. But he's facing fucking Majin Crush, and I'm just like, oh.
Well, they could have done a thing where Lex beat Yokozuna at SummerSlam, and then Yoko beat Lex at Royal Rumble or some shit.
Yeah.
They could have done that. Lex could have got his win. He could have held it for a few months, and then Brett could still have his moment. He could still do the same shit, except Lex Luger won a belt and got legitimized. God damn it!
It will still never make sense to me that none of that got resolved in any way that was satisfying. You could have done all the same feuding that you did on those periods of months, but just gave him the belt for a period of time to justify all the push that you did. And also, unless I've missed something, did we even get any relative payoff to how his WrestleMania match ended?
Not that I'm aware of. Of course, we haven't been watching TV. So.
Right, but I don't think he and they let's say had like a TV match. Like there wasn't a match where he and Perfect settled their differences. Like it's just moved on, and now he's just feuding with Crush, and Perfect's just not even in the picture at all. Maybe he's injured again or something, or he's left the company. I don't know. I don't think he's gone yet. Although maybe because he shows up in WCW soon, like in the next year or two.
Yeah, he's there for a minute. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have much else to say about this match. Did you guys?
No, it was good, chaotic fun.
I just got one little Art Donovan thing here. He found out that Yokozuna is over 600 pounds, and he almost jizzed.
Oh my god!
Yeah. He said he weighs more than both of those other men together. Yeah, and then something about how his legs were the size of a whole human body.
Yes.
He's not wrong.
And then Art is also confused on how many people were wrestling this match because of the managers and stuff. And then Art asked if these guys are from the Pacific Islands, which is pretty hilarious because most of them are. That's including the head shrinkers, Yoko, and Crush because he's Hawaiian.
That was wrong when they said it, and I was thinking, yeah, all of them are. And then you have this white guy who's like, I'm an Islander too. but he actually says something about the chaos, and when he brings up Fuji again, he just calls him Kung Fu Master. And then they have to correct him and say Master Fuji, and then I can't remember if it was Gorilla that got mad, but like they corrected the Master Fuji, or they corrected him by saying Master Fuji, but they're pissed because they meant to say Mr. Fuji, but they realized they said the wrong thing. It's like, ah, shit, now you have me saying it wrong.
I imagine Vince is like
Changing their
yelling at
voice.
Gorilla and Macho.
Damn it!
Yeah.
Tell him it's Mr. Fuji, damn it! I give this a 6.2 out of 10.
I gave it a 5.9. I didn't. Yoko's was the highlight for me, and then the Head Shrinkers, man, they could fucking fly, dude. We didn't see their title win, so I'm kind of like, man, I wish I saw that, but it's whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, who had the titles?
Steiners?
The fucking Quebecers.
Oh yeah, the Quebecers. Yeah.
Well, so the Quebecers win it back from Men on a Mission.
Yeah, remember you told us they won it like at a house show or some bullshit?
That's right, they got it back. Okay, I remember now. Because Men on a Mission got in a weird way because the WrestleMania match was all fucky. They got it. It got so they beat the Quebecers to get it. Yeah, and it was a fun match. Coming off that adrenaline rush from before. Actually, I had cooled off a lot because of that promo that Roddy did. It was weird. It was weird, but this picked back up. It was fun. I just gave it an even 6. I kept it just plain and easy.
We're right
it was
there.
fun. Yeah, we're all right there.
Maybe if it was in Japan, it'd be a little higher.
Oh, I do have an update. The reason why Luger is put into this storyline is because Mr. Perfect is having back problems at this time.
Oh, he's having back problems again. Okay.
Yeah.
Because he was having back problems last year too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So after the match, Luger and Crush fought, and then all the baby faces ran off the heels. But I gotta talk about what Lex Luger was wearing. So he was like wearing like this red, white, and blue Terry Funk striped patterned spandex overalls, like a singlet. Like he had a shirt on, and then he took his shirt off, and then he got in the ring and he fought him a little bit, and that's when it looked really weird. And then he took the straps down, and it's like he was about to lose his fucking shorts and shit. Like he kept having to pull them back up. I'm like, okay. I'm just like,
idiot. That's what the straps were for.
Yeah, it's like they don't really fit him that good or some shit. It's like he did that so he could show his physique, but like, I don't know, brother. You need to wear some Zubaz and like a fucking fanny pack and just beat their asses. I don't know.
American flag Zubaz. That's what you need. Like the dude from Napoleon Dynamite, just fucking the fucking American flag pants, and that's it. And just
the breakaway pants weren't around yet, so like that was the Zubaz before. So when those breakaway pants come out, everybody's fucking wearing those, except Stone Cold, because that's not his style, obviously.
Yeah, that was Steve Blackman.
Triple H was wearing them. Steve Blackman was wearing them. The Rock was wearing them. You know. Then we're in the back with Petting Zoo, who's now with Owen, and he calls Brett a loser, which was amazing. And then he's about to win this whole thing, and then he wishes his father Stu a happy Father's Day in like a really derisive tone. And I was like, that was pretty good.
It was really cool. He talked shit about his brother the whole time and how much better he is, and then said, "By the way, happy Father's Day, Dad."
Yeah, like he was like, "Dad." He was real proud of himself for doing that too.
Like I'm the better son too. Yeah, that's actually really funny.
He's great. He's great in his role. That's like a point I make in the match next, because it's Owen and Razor. This is the final.
Yeah. I had to say this. Fucking he throws Todd Pettenzu is now even ignoring Art because he throws it back to Gorilla and Savage. Doesn't mention Art.
Maybe he doesn't know he's out there. I don't know. But again, like, this is where I was like, Owen's just perfect in this role. Like, he's just amazing. It's like the door is open, and then Owen's just standing there with his hands on his hips. He's looking at the camera like he's just fucking disgusted. You know, all these lasers and shit, and it's like this cool entrance. He's just like, fuck all this.
He's over it. He's just ready to win. I'm above this. I want to go back real quick to what you guys said though about Pettengill not knowing Art's out there. I'm pretty sure Art doesn't know he's out there at this point. I'm concerned about that man. I don't know if he just took something after his like fucking blood pressure medications got him bottomed out, and he's just out there zoned.
I'm not trying to make fun of like CTE, but maybe it's probably CTE. Like, just saying.
He's just old ass man. Like whatever.
I mean, he's playing football when they had like less goddamn good helmets and shit. Like,
he's wearing the fucking Snoopy helmet.
He just won fucking D-Day and went to fucking NFL.
Yeah, Pearl Harbor was a running play.
Oh shit.
Damn.
Razor spends the majority of this match overpowering and out wrestling Owen, actually, due to his size and strength, which is like kind of interesting. But then Owen,
his machismo.
His machismo. Owen tries a few things, but nothing really sticks until he hits like the leg lariat, and then he's taking over for a bit. He does an abdominal stretch. He gets the rope for the leverage, and he gets away with it because he doesn't do it too much. They go to the center of the ring, and Owen's trying to do a hold, and he can't. So he decides to do the flip over behind the back trick. 1 2 3 Kid does that a lot too, where he like puts the leg over the dude's head and then does a backflip, like he's gonna do something else. It just looks cool. And then instead of him being able to do something cool, Razor just grabs him by the throat and drives his fucking head into the mat with a choke slam. It's like that looked cool. It's like fucking like killed him. And then he hits the sack of shit slam, Mang. Razor tries to do the back suplex, but Owen flips over him and does a Russian leg sweep. And then he goes to the top like he's going to do a moonsault. Razor stops him, and then he hits the super back suplex, Chico. Then Razor says it's over, and he's going to do Razor's Edge. But then Owen backdrops him out to the floor. And then Neidhart comes out to help Razor. It looks really weird. He's like, "You okay, buddy? You okay?" And it's like, "No!" And he like fucking throws him into like the ring post and shit. And he throws him back in the ring, and he's just like, walks off. And then Owen hits like one of the cleanest elbow drops I've ever seen from the top rope, and he gets a 3. It was perfect. It was like that should have been like a motion capture or some shit. I don't know.
You don't see enough like elbow drop wins.
Well, Sean does it as a signature. I think he beats people with it occasionally right now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, well, since Savage isn't wrestling anymore, nobody else really does it like that.
Yeah. I mean, there's a few people that do it, and I would like to think that the elbow drop died with CM Punk because he was like, I'm going to do it and basically make it a transition move, but I also do it like Jeff Jarrett does a fist drop. Top rope because his elbow drop sucks. His is
kind of awkward. Yeah, it's like he's like, oh shit, I'm gonna break something. Like he doesn't know. Like he's terrified to do this move, but he has to do it.
And here's the thing: if you're gonna jump to do, you have to be fluid. You can't flail. If you flail, you look weird, especially if you're skinny fat.
I like seeing Punk, but yeah, that's like he does have like probably one of the worst elbow drops.
I mean, I'm totally shitting. I'm literally wearing a CM Punk shirt, but
he like lines up his fucking elbow like he has water wings on or something.
He's in fucking shallow end trying to fucking swim. That's a great description. You fucking had to mute, get off camera. It was so good. Oh man.
Would you give the score, by the way, before I go into my Art Donovan quotes?
Okay. I want to say real quick, too, in the post-match, they beat Razor down and hit a heart attack on him.
Mm-hmm.
And then clearly Neidhart's aligned with Owen. Good match. Good result. I gave it a 7 out of 10.
All right. Art Donovan time. You would think that Art Donovan, coming from a football background, would know what a bracket is and how the tournament works, because playoffs are usually like that. Like when you win a game, you move on to the next round. Well, Art Donovan didn't know how this was working, and they had to explain it to him for a third time. Art seems happy about Razor Ramon in the beginning, and he wonders if Razor is going to get rid of his toothpick. And that's when he throws the toothpick. And then Macho Man says, "You got your wish, buddy." And then midway through the match, he changes to Owen Hart as his pick. Probably because he probably heard Vince on the the headset be like, "This is where the finish is gonna happen" or something.
Yeah, I don't. So, did you have any other thoughts about this match?
Oh no, it's fucking Razor, man, and it's fucking
It's Razor
Owen
and
Hart.
Owen. Yeah,
Yeah. So, I the choke slam I really liked because fucking I don't know. Did he ever do that ever again?
yeah, he does. He throws that move out occasionally. He doesn't do it all the time. Scott Hall's got a solid choke slam. I like it. But yeah, he just does it once in a while. He does it with the right guy. Typically, it's a smaller guy he'll do it to, which makes sense.
So,
Chaz, now that you've collected yourself,
I gave this a fucking 7.9 out of 10.
Oh, see, there's his RC Cola.
Yeah,
there's
RC
Dubs.
Cola. Hi, you're like Brett. You're a loser. Try to get him to spit up his mouth. The match was really good. The only thing is, again, it was serving a vehicle for, clearly Owen's going to win. They have the whole turn and everything. It would be really good to see these guys have a little longer of a match.
Yeah.
And it not have something a little hokey at the end. But I liked it. It also helped justify what happened earlier in the title match because it was strange. And then it's like, oh, that makes sense. And then that's when my wheels were turning and I realized, oh, that's why he was acting so weird the whole time. Oh, it actually was on purpose. It wasn't that stuff like I'm just not self-aware of my environment and I'm being stupid. I'm actually intentionally doing this because I'm a heel. Shh. So I like that, but I really liked it. I gave it at this point. I was like, because I'll just say it. I watched Clash first and then watched this one, but that was just because of timing and whatever. So when I wrote stuff down, I didn't like nitpick. I just kept it like kind of even. So I just gave it a 7.5. I probably like talking about it. I'd probably go a little higher, but that's at least what I wrote. So I'll bump it. We'll say 7.6.
Nice.
Good match.
Nice.
Yeah. This card, like, there's a ton of matches, but man, everything's been really good.
7.2. I'm gonna bump mine up 7.2. There you go.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So we didn't get Pettin Zoo anymore.
We did get a different guy finally.
Yeah. By the way, I don't know how to say his last name, so I'm just gonna call him Ray Ragu.
Joe.
Yeah.
Another one of those French Canadians.
Ragu.
Raymond Ragu. That's the other fucking side of the world. It's like,
I don't know why the fuck when you said Ragu, you sounded like Borat. Like, my
Ragu. Yes. He does elbow drop like he is in shallow end of pool. Flailing.
he commentate like sleeve of wizard.
I wrote down, I was like, wow, Brett just looked like he took a hard shit. And like you know like when you take those shits and you're trying to fucking push out a log and you start sweating a lot. That's how fucking Bret Hart looks in his fucking interview.
That's a really weird way to describe.
But it's accurate.
His mental state, like his brother-in-law fucking betrayed him, and he's conniving with his brother, and he's just like, "Fuck, my family's fucking me here."
Yeah,
and it's just like, yeah, he's like, "You got any comments about this?" And then he's just like, "I don't have any comments." He just walks away. He just doesn't know what to say. He's at a loss for words. Yeah, he's just like fucking betrayed and mad.
Well, he does long-term booking. He do long-term booking. Long-term.
This is Vince Russo's impression.
Chef in 2 minutes. You know,
His long-term booking.
Long-term booking, bro.
Yeah, Natalia Neidhart. He's gonna, whisper in Vince's ear to make her fucking shit her pants.
Brett got his revenge.
Yeah,
by creating Nide Fart.
Yeah,
Nide Fart.
That poor girl. God damn.
I know. I feel bad for her.
So after this, the amazing coronation ceremony commences. Petting Zoo's out there, and Owen and Jim are standing there, and Owen's standing there with his arms crossed, looking like he just beat the fucking world and shit. It's like great. And then Owen demands that Petting Zoo kneels before him, and he doesn't want Jack Tunney to present him with the crown and shit. He wants the Anvil to present him with his royal vestiges.
Dude, I
And
love his fucking crown, dude. It looks comfortable.
it looks like it should be like something you wear for like the cover shot of your early 90s rap album. That's what it looks like.
Notorious B.I.G.
Yeah, something like that. Because it was like they got like a big pimp hat and they built a crown around it. It's like what it looks like. But like he demands, like he keeps interrupting Petting Zoo and making demands and proclamations. It's funny. Like every time Petting Zoo's like, well, and then he's like, shut up! I've got something to say! I'm the king of hearts! Everybody's gonna give me respect now! And then, like, it was a great segment. I loved it. I just love Owen.
Well, it's also something that builds a character that lives on throughout WWE history, because every person that's a heel that wins King of the Ring, like barring maybe like one or two other people, always do the same bit. They turn into the king. They instantly think they became king of the ring, so they are a literal king, so they can start making demands and decrees, and they walk around like they own the earth for like whatever that time is, for better or for worse, right? Because some people take it too far, and it's like, okay, you don't have to take the crown and scepter every time, but we got a lot of good stuff. We got King Booker, right?
He was the only guy that made that ridiculous shit actually work.
Well, didn't who was it? I can't remember. Did Regal win King of the Ring one year?
Yeah, but he wasn't like, they called him King Regal and shit, but he wasn't like parading in
King Barrett, I think.
ridiculous outfit.
There's King Barrett, which that one was a little too far.
Sucked.
King Corbin was a weird one. He hadn't found himself yet, and they just pushed it. It pushed it again. It was that down your throat thing. But again, the whole point is that it's an endearing thing to Owen. He did such a good job that stood out to Vince that he was like, no, I need every person that wins this event to do it this way.
That's cool. I like that.
I like this better.
Hey,
King Sheamus sucked too, by the way. But anyway, like I just want to throw. I hated a lot of the King of the Ring winners because they kept doing that King shit and they took it too far. See, Owen did this shit, and he was like in the moment, he like embraced it and everything. And then after that, he doesn't keep coming out with a fucking cape and a scepter and shit. Actually, Macho Man is the first guy to really do that when he became Macho King. And it wasn't even for like a King of the Ring tournament, but he's like the first guy to do that shit. Declare himself besides Lawler, I guess. But even Lawler didn't do that like that, not really.
Right. Yeah, no, that's what I meant. Like this is like a specific thing of they win the event, and then if it's the heel that wins it, that specific person goes on and does it. I think the only other person is probably Stone Cold that wins it. That's a heel that doesn't take it like to that degree at all.
He doesn't take it that degree at all. He's just like, I won this whole damn tournament, and you know what? I kicked your ass, and that's the bottom line. Fuck everybody, and that's it.
It's like the best opposite of it because he actually just becomes Stone Cold. Like it's just like the best thing. It's literally the birth of like the amazing thing that it is. But yeah, no, I agree. It was more just an endearing thing that the Vince liked it enough that he was like, nope. 25 years later, 30 years later, nope, I want that. That's what I want. With his weird twizzle mustache. Best believe we have another King of the Ring. He's gonna make him do that shit again.
King Mabel. They brought King Mabel out on a fucking throne. Those poor guys.
Oh my god.
And then Diesel felt the wrath of fucking King Mabel.
Fuck!
Fuck! Mabel!
I did want to bring up, because you brought up Macho King before. I forgot what match it was, but they were talking about weddings, and Macho Man's like, I don't do weddings. And I'm like, that's hilarious because you had the fucking match of a lifetime.
Yeah, he literally had a wedding in wrestling. Yeah, I think it's he says that, and then the gorilla laughs at him too, and says, "I see what you did there." Like it was pretty funny. And Art Donovan has no idea what's going on. I'm just happy to be here.
That sweet summer child.
I got a fucking question. Why was this a big thing about Roddy Piper and Lawler? Like I know we get a fucking promo. And by the way, is that the impersonator that's going to be making fun of Owen Hart down the road?
I think it's just a different kid or guy or whatever the fuck. He did the breathing thing pretty good. Actually, I'll give him that.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently Piper and Lawler were having a feud on TV that we missed. And like they show us a recap of it, and it's like Jerry ripping into him, and then it shows like random responses from Piper over time, where it looks like he's making somebody record him on like a VHS camcorder, and he just sends it to the office, like every time. Like he's out in a boat, he's in his like fucking
Trailer.
He's in his trailer. He's in his living room where there's like a Super Nintendo back there hooked up to a little TV. Yes, I noticed that. It made everything have kind of a guerrilla feel to it. I did like that, the little responses. They were much better than the weird fucking promo he did.
Yeah.
I wish I could have seen more of those rather than just the snippets.
I didn't really care for this match. I'm being real.
Okay. I had a different reaction to this match, but I'll break it down, I guess.
Break it down.
Jerry Lawler versus Roddy Piper. And see, my thoughts initially was like, this is really weird that this is the main event of this show.
Yeah.
I'm like, why is this the main event?
Yeah, that was strange too.
And like, this should be a marquee match for the show because of who's in it, of course. But like, yeah, Piper comes out with that kid that Lawler got to make fun of him with, so they're buddies now, I guess.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I noted this is pretty ironic. So they spent the whole show they're actively pushing the idea of this new generation thing. They even had like a fucking video package and shit. And they did it hard. And then this match closes the show between two old guys. Fucking Piper and Lawler. And I'm not going to go into the guts of this match because it was a fairly simple match, actually. They didn't have like some scientific fucking wrestling match, and it wasn't like a fight. It wasn't like a brawl or anything. It was a classic pro wrestling match, like kind of old style. It had like a lot of psychology and playing to the crowd kind of stuff in it. But it was fun, and more importantly, everybody actually reacted to it really well, which is kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Because before that, you had like all these matches that had like a bunch of fast action, hard-hitting action, stuff like that. And then you have this match that's like basically a territory-style match. And it's like, this looks kind of hokey maybe, but God damn it, they got the people. Because they kept reacting to all the little spots, like when like he catches Lawler's leg when he tries to stomp him, and he gets up, and he's like, no, no, no. And everybody's like, yeah, forget him. And he got him. Or like when Piper hits a bulldog on Lawler, I noticed there's this kid in the front row. He jumps out of his seat. Like, it's not like some little kid either. He looks like a teenager. Like he might be 17 years old.
Is it the Power Ranger t-shirt wearing dude?
It might have been. He had like a hat on. He had like a fucking baseball cap and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was him. He jumps out of his seat. He's like, yeah, get him. Like, there it is. There's a real guttural reaction to wrestling.
I think there's a lot of Roddy marks out there.
I think it's a lot of it's got to do with who's in the match too. Roddy Piper, which everybody loves Roddy Piper. It's funny because like at first he was like the biggest heel in the company. There.
Oh, and they did the line from "They Lived."
He did. They opened with that, which was cool. But it's funny because it's just like you had this whole show where you had these hot young new talents, and then two veterans go out there and get just as big of a reaction, but they don't do nearly as much stuff.
I kind of wish they did like a Vince Russo like thing where like the Hershey chocolate bar was on the line or whatever.
Oh my God. Whoever wins this match gets to take the starring role in Roddy Piper's next film. Here it is.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good. It was fun, most importantly.
I just wish this was placed somewhere else besides the main event.
I don't like that it closed the show. It was weird, but I still liked it. I gave it a 6 out of 10. I thought it was fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna be a little bit more harsher. I love Roddy, and actually Lawler. I kind of started respecting a little bit more because I've been watching a little bit of Memphis wrestling, and he's good in that. But I gave this a 5.9 out of 10.
Right there.
Mm-hmm.
You're at the Fukushima power plant. I'm at the wrestling center in Hawaii.
Yeah. So I gave it a 6. Just again, we were talking before, like it was like decent, and I don't know. I'm also like a Roddy Piper fan. Like I think that inflates it a little bit. Like it was a decent match for what it served. It just was strange in the placement. And you guys were talking about that. I wanted to look into it, and it's actually I've went down a little bit of a rabbit hole here, but it's kind of fascinating how so apparently this was thought of as like a forgotten dream match
Yeah.
because these guys never wrestled before, but I guess just based on some stuff I found where like they both were interviewed and even Lawler more recently had done interviews and stuff and has been asked about it, and this is actually regarded as like at the time a terrible main event, and I guess it's because like it's divisive because it had very little build. Like we were talking before how this was built up. Apparently, all that was really ever said was on one Monday Night Raw.
Oh,
King just comes out with that guy, the impersonator, and calls him out, and that's literally what was used to build the match. So it had no build, but people were excited enough that Roddy was coming back, but then it ended up being the main event, and it just didn't serve it. And I guess there was a whole thing about Lawler being quoted saying that Roddy, up to that point, they had never worked together or really like talked to each other, and Roddy was like really arguing against having the match because he wasn't happy with how it was built. It was just kind of thrown together. He felt like it was proper, and he said in a way he almost felt like he didn't see Lawler as a worthy opponent to him, but in reality it was more he just mad about how like, okay, well, this is just being thrown together. You're literally just putting my name on it to make and letting my name be the build rather than there actually being a story behind this. And that's kind of why we get the weird like haphazard promo we get. He's just like, fuck it, I'm coming. It almost reminds me of like Harrison Ford, like, all right, well, let's just go ahead and shoot this piece of shit. Like that's kind of how he's treating it. And like he wrestles that way too. Like you're not getting like vintage Roddy. He hasn't wrestled in 2 years, and it's strange, but it's still fun enough to watch. But I guess after they became really good friends, and like they stayed in really close contact, and so it turned out like it had nothing to do against Lawler. He was just totally mad about how it was like played off. But I guess it's like a really divisive thing against people. Like there was like this wasn't supposed to be the main event, and I guess there was a concern about Roddy not showing up, which is why they didn't want to have it in the middle of the card and fumble it or something, which I guess was never an issue. I found a rabbit hole of different stuff.
Huh.
But long story short is it sounds like weird backstage stuff caused it to be the way it was. But in reality, this show absolutely should have closed with the coronation, right? Like this should have been King of the Ring finals and the coronation. Or you could have had the heavyweight match, I guess. But again, you could have just done your story a little differently. But it'd been much better to just have this match in the middle somewhere and then have that finals match with the coronation.
yeah.
Like again, any main event show in this era could have ended with someone telling Petting Zoo to kneel. That's how it should have happened.
Like overall, I thought this was a pretty good show. I just had mixed feelings about how it closed.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't know about all this other stuff you just revealed, so that's interesting. I thought initially they didn't want to close the show with a heel winning the King of the Ring kind of thing, because sometimes Vince doesn't like that to send the people home pissed off. At least he used to not like to do that.
Yeah.
That's changed.
It's like, yeah, that's changed a while ago. It's like, yeah,
But back in these days, he didn't like to do that. Even though the previous one ended with the babyface getting his ass kicked by Lawler with no rebuttal. Like, that's how the show signed off. Brett got coronated, and then Jerry Lawler ruined it and beat his ass, and he didn't get a word in edgewise. So, I don't know. I guess your explanation makes more sense. Brett versus Diesel was the match of the night for me, but we all have different opinions of what the match of the night is, which is, I think that's a good thing. That shows
this was a strong card.
The show's just good.
Good storytelling.
Oh yeah, good storytelling that ran through the whole show too. Owen didn't quite have Brett's performance from last year.
No, Brett's better, but
I don't think that was the idea or the point, though.
No.
So they had a different intention and all that shit. So
in a way, even though he did face Razor, you kind of had to like, and even though he did have like a hard fought match with like 1, 2, 3 Kid and his other opponents, They also kind of wanted to like make it like lukewarm that he just like won it, and then obviously with Anvil, helping out, that he just kind of walked into becoming king, kind of thing.
Yeah. Which is great. It's great for the heel.
Instead of just like Brett, who like had a struggle to get those wins against all his opponents and stuff.
Yeah.
We also forgot to mention, like, it closed off with like Shawn Michaels talking to Diesel and then them yelling at the Coliseum guy to get away.
Oh yeah, it's okay, buddy. Yeah, he was like, "You get him next time."
He was soothing Diesel.
Yeah, Diesel was in there skulking, like, "Oh, good. I just want to be cool."
I just want to be cool, man. Nobody takes me seriously. Powerbomb the soul ass motherfucker. I still don't get any respect. You guys have any other thoughts about the show overall?
No, I give the whole show like a 7.3 out of 10.
Oh.
Yep, I was right in that same ballpark. I gave it 7.2.
I gave it a 7.4.
Well, look at that
Ballpark.
Yeah.
We're right there.
It's a very good show.
Yep. And let's move on to this show. God damn it.
This was interesting.
WCW Clash of Champions 27 review.
That's right.
Yes.
AKA the roller coaster of wrestling. Let's go.
This one is kind of like all over the map, but it's like, it's not, in my opinion, it wasn't really bad.
That's what the first W in WCW is. It's not actually a letter; it's a roller coaster. It's just up.
This represents the booking.
Is anybody sick and tired of the first match like happening?
I kind of zoned out, honestly, so I don't have a lot to say about it. But like, I'll go ahead and like, at first they pump the show up in the beginning. They show like Hogan and how about Hogan's here and Flair's here, and they're in the same arena for the first time ever. And I'm like,
no, they're
that's
not.
not true. That's not fucking true at all. They were in WWF together.
They're doing like Michael Cole fucking facts where like it's totally not true.
Well, that's what Vince would tell Michael Cole to say. It's been revealed now.
Yeah, see, I wish this is almost where I wish some of that Russo wrestling would come in, and we had that reality where they would go ahead and just blur that line and talk about how they saw each other before or something, but it's just not there. But whatever, it's fine.
That's okay. It just irks me a little. Yeah, the first match is Nasty Boys and Cactus and Kevin Sullivan for the WCW tag titles. And it's funny because this has been booked in reverse now. They kind of pulled a Tony Khan before Tony Khan.
Yeah, because they have all these like chaos matches, and now they're like having the rubber match be an actual fucking wrestling match.
Normal.
Yeah.
It's because Cousin Dave's back out there, and we got to set a good example for him.
Oh my God, fucking Dave
I'm pretty
Sullivan.
I'm pretty sure he's retarded, and they don't want to like give a bad precedent to him that he can go out and beat people with weapons.
That's the only like shining light that I'm looking at this feud is I'm like we're gonna get that Sullivan fucking thing with Hogan later on and Halloween Havoc, and I'm just like, I can't wait for this. But like every time I see the fucking Nasty Boys and fucking Cactus Jack, I'm just like, I don't fucking care about this anymore.
Yeah, it's too long. Like at first I was like, this is fun. And then the second time I was like, that one was okay. And then like now I'm like, I don't want to fucking see this anymore.
What I'm wondering is Kevin Sullivan a booker at this point?
I think he is going to be very soon if he's not right now.
Okay, because he's booking this like he did his relationship, and
that's the second time we did it.
Yeah, every time
he booked himself to do a divorce, brother.
Yeah. Oh god, I almost said something really horrible. Never mind. We'll get fucking canceled. I almost said something real fucked up.
We'll say it off air.
Yeah, I'll say it later.
So this match had two referees, which was funny to me because there's so much chaos, and then it's like this was just a goddamn normal match, and they barely did any shit. Like you guys,
they literally had to announce, due to the graphic, violent content and chaos that happens, we need two refs, and apparently everyone involved said 2 refs. Oh shit, we can't do that. I want to point out there actually were 2 refs for the last match they had. They just didn't say anything, and it was chaos. So they actually went like full Dave Sullivan, and by that I mean it is full retard. Like that didn't make any fucking sense, right?
It was dumb.
It was real fucking dumb.
Mm-hmm.
I also zoned out during this.
Like it was just a tag brawl, controlled though. They mostly stuck to being in the ring and at ringside. Not.
I only wrote one note, and I said, "So an extra referee just stops all the chaos."
Yeah, I don't know. So, well, fun thing. I can't remember if we said this at the beginning of the show or if this was before we actually went on air. But this show was on my 5th birthday. I think Dubs, you turned 6, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was a little stinger. I had my face painted for this mat, like this whole thing, like because I had my birthday, we did face paint. So I'm like dressed like a little Sting, watching this with a friend and family there. I got my little wrestling buddies and other stuff. And one of the first memories I have of is like my early wrestling memories is the Nasty Boys, and I think it's why I have a deep loathing for them. I see them and they just make me think of the white trash that lived around me that caused all the shit in my neighborhood. And I was like, fucking, I hate watching the fat meth addicts wrestle. So that's why I respect it now and realize it was a whole thing that was supposed to make me mad. That's how I always felt.
No, the fat meth addicts are in ECW right now, not fucking here.
No, not Public Enemy. I mean,
oh, you got it. You did it.
Yeah, that's funny. I made a joke, but I don't even really have any things. I think wrestling happened, which confused me because up to this point they never did wrestle.
That's what I'm saying. They booked it backwards. It's just like, what the fuck?
I also wrote like Kevin Sullivan, his receding hairline is getting out of control. Just cut your fucking hair, bro.
No, it's part of his look. He needs it. It's like Hogan with the skull. You don't just shave off the rest of his hair.
Yeah.
See what's throwing everything off is he can't do his crazy satanic makeup shit.
Yeah.
That's what really makes it come together is when he fills in his widow's peak with like a bunch of fucking crazy art.
Is that the whole point that he gave me that whole character because he needed to fill in fucking bald spot?
I think he just saw what was there and he's like, man, I can't do a New Jersey accent or whatever the fuck his accent is, Boston. I can't do that accent, but like, he's like, I just got to do something with this shit, and then he made it part of his gimmick.
They do long-term, not long-term. They do storytelling in a sensational Sherry. They thought they were going to come out with the Nasty Boys because of Missy Hyatt's not there or something like that.
She's gone.
Yeah, where is she?
I think she's in ECW now. I'm not sure about that, but like I think that's where she is.
Shadow Realm.
The Shadow Realm.
They keep changing it up, but later they just call her Sherry, then they call her Sensational Sherry, and then they call her Sensual Sherry.
I think they realize, pal, we can't call her Sensational because that's what they call her in WWF.
That's what I think too. Is an audible, and then that's what they finally stuck with. So later on, they finally settle on it, and they keep calling her Sensual Sherry. So that's her name.
Sure,
at least for the rest of the show, whatever.
They'll change it again.
Fucking humanoids.
Humanoids. I gave this a 5 out of 10 because it was just there. I'm just like, they didn't do anything stupid that really offended me. Nothing was bad. It's just like, I've seen this. It's fucking whatever.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's a average. It's nothing for me to be like, oh, this sucks. It's just that we saw it too many times, and what I was watching, I wasn't offended in any way. I guess I was offended I was seeing it another time, but they had to book it, I guess, because they're the only tag teams, I guess, around since the Hollywood Blondes are no more anymore.
What about the fucking Cole brothers?
Fuck them. And fucking Wrecking Crew's gone back to their fucking normal jobs, probably doing plumbing in Best Buy, or during that time it would probably be Computer USA or whatever, Comp USA.
Comp USA.
Yeah, and
Best. It wasn't Best Buy yet, it was Best.
Yeah, and the fucking Four Horsemen, fucking that vacuum sucker motherfucker, whatever his name was, like
Paul Roma.
Yeah,
Paul Roma, the charisma vacuum.
Yeah,
Paul Roma, the black hole of wrestling charisma.
Yeah,
Singularity.
So yeah. So we got to watch these tag teams happen, and so it's a 5 out of 10 for me.
So because I gotta be nitpicky, the logic just didn't sit with me because I almost couldn't pay attention because I was so confused about what I was watching, and then it was just very bland. Like it felt like it felt like it should have just been like a regular house show or a TV show, not a regular TV show, not like a Saturday night, not a Clash. So that alone was there, and then I deducted the points because the logic thing just was a huge gap. So I ended up just giving this a 4.5. Again, to me, it's like a little below average because you've already blown this whole thing up because you've done this huge like escalation of how they're fighting, and then you're insulting your audience by doing something like kind of dumb. Like you've already had 2 refs, and more than that, like to try to help contain like nonsense violence, and even talked about how there was all this violence that needed to end. But the way to not end that is to say, just to officially announce we'll have 2 refs, and then just have a regular wrestling match. Like these guys have beaten the absolute hell out of each other. There's no way they just come out and like, you know what? We'll just have a regular wrestling match, and that'll be that.
Motherfucker's head got he atomized a guitar. Like, we saw that. We saw matter turn into antimatter. Like,
fucking Rick James his ass. Remember?
Yeah.
Kicked the shit out of him.
Yeah, you were right, Zach. They did it backwards. It's kind of like they nuked first. Like they did the nuclear bomb, and then you're just like, hey, we're just gonna do ground warfare.
You remember that time? Remember that time when Triple H and Randy Orton were feuding up to their WrestleMania main event, and like they're invading. I think Triple H invaded Randy Orton's house, and you thought, oh my god, they're gonna murder each other. And then they came out and had a regular wrestling match where they stared at each other and plotted through like a 10-minute wrestling match as if they were friends. And then there was no animosity at all, and it made no fucking sense, and everyone was really disappointed. Well, that's how this match started, or this whole show started for me, just in a smaller little microcosm of that, which is why I gave it the score I did, because I was a little insulted.
You convinced me. I'm going to lower my score to 4.7 for sake, because I'll be honest, I was also a little distracted when this match was on. I was talking about video game shit with Andy in chat, so I was preoccupied to fuzz.
I had 2 monster drinks and I was still sleepy.
Fuck.
Yeah. And for me, I watched these backwards. Remember, so like the very first thing I watched of this was, and I was like, "Fuck, here we go again." Like starting with this, but then we watched all of the stuff and it was good. So. Then thankfully, like by the end of this card, plus watching all of King of the Ring, it was just like constantly climbing up to grander heights. It was pretty good.
But like even after this match, we get the next match, and we get the little backstory about Big Boss Man not being the boss man anymore, not a fucking correction officer, and he's now with the fucking Guardian Angels with fucking in New York wearing the red beret.
Yeah, what is he like? I feel like they took the wrong way about this.
Well, do you know the history behind the Guardian Angels?
No, I'm aware. That's why like, watching it, I'm like, well, this is some really weird, like, race crime, like, anti-drug propaganda. This is weird to watch as far as how they're, like, filming it to make a wrestling angle out of it. It's like, hey, yeah, he was a cop. Just don't let him go out there and beat somebody's ass. You don't have to make him into a bit.
No, he's got to earn his badge and his nightstick back.
I mean, I don't know if this is the right way to go.
And he has to like wear the white shirt with like khakis and shit. Like,
I'm just glad they didn't put a fucking white sheet over his head. I'm like,
well, the thing about like the little history about New York, by the way, in the 70s, in the 80s, crime was fucking out of control to the point where police was not doing anything, or they couldn't keep up with the crime. So I think it's like Neil Cavuto, whatever his fucking name was, which by the way, they fucking like blurred out his name. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah, but the name, I saw there was something blurred. I was like, well, that's a little weird, but okay.
Yeah, so like they created the Guardian Angels like apparently they, as Neil Cavuto put it, they rough him up and put the face to the asphalt. Like, they don't use weapons. They just fucking they essentially fucking American history curb stomp you, I guess.
I mean, hey, it's hand to hand, brother. There's no inherent advantage there.
CQC. They pretty much CQC this shit.
Yeah, you either can fight with your hands. Any man with two hands has a fighting chance, brother. And you fucking either eat the asphalt or get away.
It's so funny, like, because all the Guardians, I almost said Guardians of the Galaxy, Jesus fucking Christ. But they're all like small. There's like, and then you look at fucking Big Boss Man, he's fucking huge.
He's like fucking giant compared to them. It's hilarious. You see, you said this was like a real thing, and I wasn't aware of any of this shit. Like I thought, is this a gimmick? Like I couldn't tell if this was real or not.
No, it's real. They in the subways, which is ironic because the New York subways are back to what it was in the 70s and 80s and shit. But they would hang around in the subway waiting for like, someone to get mugged, and they would like tell them nicely stop or we'll beat your ass. And that's what they would do. And they would hold the guy down until the cops came and arrested him. But I don't think today they would get arrested. They would get arrested more than the actual criminals, but I won't get too political on that end. Yeah,
no, that's like another thing I'd love to talk about off air. We could have a cool conversation about that, because like it's one of those other groups that technically was like founded to try to stand for all the right things, to do things, but then just shit happens and it went the way it did. But I think with the message though, because this is the mid 90s and people don't like, there are probably a fair number of people that don't know the history behind it, that are also not from New York, they're like in the South. So just showing it, like the tone is way off. Like they at this point they should have just made fucking
they look like Nazis. Pretty much.
They should have just made Robert Parker his fucking manager if they were gonna go that route and let him say boy a lot. It seems fucking weird.
I was thinking about the Truth Commission because they were all wearing like red berets and shit. It reminded me of that. Like, what the fuck? And then like this reminded me of a whole other thing. Like this has nothing to do with any of this, but it's just funny because I was looking at their attire. I'm like, they're wearing like berets and like pants and shit.
The colonel from Resident Evil 4.
They have like a uniform. And I was like, this reminds me of the Cornet Convention Watchers. Which is like a whole fucking. There was this gag. I don't know what happened, but like it had to do with like when Rick Steiner got in trouble at that like convention.
Oh, the one recently where he like said a bunch of like
he said some shit,
anti-transphobic stuff. Yeah.
But then there was a string of like things that happened at wrestling conventions. There was that, and then there was when Jack Perry went over to the UK and went to that convention and basically just didn't give a fuck and blew everybody off there. It was like he didn't want to be there. And then he was saying something like, we're going to have to invent, like, because like people that were attending these conventions sent them emails about this shit to talk about it that were there. And he's like, we're going to have to like create the Cornet Convention Watchers or some shit. And Brian's like, what are you talking about? He's like, we're going to have an official uniform. It's going to be like a black pantaloons and a red sash and a white beret and a saber. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Fucking nerds, who dress up as goddamn hall monitors? Fucking idiots.
But the best part is people started actually dressing like that at wrestling conventions.
That is kind of funny.
And they started wearing their people were trying to make up the Cornet Convention Watcher uniform, and it was great. That's what it reminded me of. It reminded me of that.
So this was a squash, right?
No, it was a fucking squash because like Tex Slazenger there, and he goes to the camera. He's like, Texas, and I'm like, yeah. And then I'm just like, why can't he just be Big Bubba Rogers? Why do they gotta call him the Guardian Angel? Everybody knows who the fuck this is. It's just, God damn it. And I don't know, Tex hits a couple moves, and then Boss Man's like, come on, blah, 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 and he just beats his ass. He just hits a bunch of moves and fits the fucking
Sidewalk slam.
The sidewalk slam, the boss man slam. Tony calls it a fucking pile driver for some goddamn reason. Like a stroke or some shit.
Yeah, Tony's weed hit a little too early.
I guess.
He's imagining getting his dick sucked by fucking Sherry.
Oh,
I guess.
Squash. Squash.
Splash.
Yeah,
I didn't give us a rating.
Stepping on a mustard bottle. That's the sound. We got Lord Steven Regal with Sir William versus Larry Zbyszko, who won the WCW television title. He's the champion, and this is for the television title.
Yeah. To clarify that, so the last event we watched, he beat Steven Regal, but it was a non-title match. Regal got so mad that he got the opportunity to take him on TV, and then he beat him on TV for the TV title, and now this is the rematch to get title back.
Yeah.
That's where
and
we're
Jesse
at.
Ventura is on commentating.
They switched.
And the weed hit because Tony didn't give a fuck about what Jesse had to say at all. Like, I actually thought it was fucking hilarious when, like, throughout the whole show, starting with this, anytime Jesse tried to use something to, like, get him to laugh or do anything, he just, like, he just ignored him, and then eventually he would say, "Come on." He just called him out.
He was so selling his shit.
He was so selling the fuck out of Jesse's bad jokes. It was so funny.
Oh, God. So, Regal comes out wearing, like, some goddamn Revolutionary War outfit with a powdered wig for some reason. What the fuck is he doing? And they couldn't really explain it well either. Because Tony said something like, well, people in here usually think about the Civil War. I'm like, do they?
Well, that was his whole way to get away from Jesse, because Jesse's doing this stupid thing about, well, this is Rupert Regal and his powdered wig from the Revolutionary War.
He caught the silver dollar. George Washington fucking threw it. He made some bullshit. Yeah, like, they couldn't explain it, so whatever. They got away from it.
Mm-hmm.
And then Regal gets to jump on Larry. And this is kind of a back and forth fight with some wrestling. Both guys get vicious laying their offense in. Regal especially is like trying pretty hard.
They rake the eyes. You don't see a lot of raking the eyes anymore.
Not really. We saw Roddy Piper do his classic eye poke. It was so funny. But like, I think Owen rakes some eyes. But there's a spot where like Larry like locks in a body scissors, and like Regal's like he's laying on the mat like on his back. And Regal sells it like death as soon as he locks it in. He's like, ah! Like, it's like he's crushing his intestines or some shit. And then he gets desperate and he hits Larry in the stomach like with a forearm hard, and he fucking headbutts him. Like, it wasn't like some kind of like over the top like Samoan headbutt. It's like one of those short, like, it looks like a real fucking headbutt. And through the whole match, Regal's like laying in these snug blows. He's like looking for openings. Like, there's a spot specifically where like the camera's got the frame. He's got like Larry, and he's like palm striking him in like the fucking nose and shit in the face. I'm like, damn, it's pretty good shit here. And they tease that spot from Slamboree they did where like Regal's trying to do like, I don't know, a double arm suplex or a stupid Tiger Driver 98 or whatever. And like, but Zbyszko like kind of backdrops him out of it and bridges him for a pin, but this time he kicked out of it. That's how he beat him at the pay-per-view. Finish comes when Larry's trying to do a Boston Crab, but he can't hold on. And then like Regal rolls through and stacks him up and holds the rope and gets a pin. He won it. He won it back. He cheated.
Yep. 5-year-old me was really mad about this. I didn't like Regal. I thought he was smug and kind of a jerk. And I remember asking my family why he was like that. My dad was like, yeah, he's like that because he's British. And I was like, that's why he's mean. He's like, yeah, what's that mean? It's like, it means that he doesn't brush his teeth or bathe. So for a couple of years, I thought that British people were like us, but they talked different and they were jerks because they didn't take care of their hygiene.
Mm-hmm.
And then I learned it was actually because they were from a different country and had nothing to do with that. And it was a stereotype. But for a while, I thought it was that. I was like, he's just a smelly asshole.
Hey, some stereotypes exist for a reason, though.
Well, that's why his nose is like that. He was smelling his own shit.
I guess so. Damn.
What do you guys think about this match?
It doesn't fall in line with like the Nasty Boys and Cactus Jack, and I know we're getting like a different matchup, but like seeing William Regal again, Lord Steven Regal, I mean, I'm kind of like, but I did like it. It was switched up this time. There's a lot of like desperation, just like the last match was, because Larry's a fucking legend. Larry did do well in this. I just think it's weird that they're hot potatoing this title. I feel like what happened is when Larry beat him the first time, they're just like, oh, let's just fucking put the title on him. And maybe like when he was on TV, maybe he was just like, maybe we should not do this and then put it back on Regal. I don't know. But I gave this a 6.1 out of 10.
Yeah, I thought it was fine. I didn't think it was as good as the first match they had that we watched. In all fairness, I didn't think it was too much of a hot potato as much as because Regal's had that belt for a long ass time, but like set it up in a way that it makes sense Sabisco would be able to win it from him, and then Regal just steals it back, and it's like okay. I didn't think it was too bad there. The other thing too is that oh shit, I lost my train of thought. I don't remember what I was saying now. Fucking time traveling meat got me. Point is, Regal winning it back, I think, was totally fine. And like the technical wrestling wasn't too bad. It's just a little short. And again, they kind of called back to some spots from that first match, so it was okay. I gave it a 5.8. It was fine, but that's right. I know what I was gonna make the point of. It's weird that this is the third match, so this is a rubber match. So Regal gets his title back, but still is one loss down, or one match down against him. So, like, do you have them run it again? It's weird. I don't know. That seems strange, but whatever. I guess that happens sometimes.
Mm-hmm. By the way, I want to apologize because I was like looking over my notes. We totally ignored Sting promo.
His promo was like 15 seconds.
Yeah.
It was very, very quick. Yeah.
And he was weird. He just came out and was like, I'm a shark. Yeah. I'm like, you're a scorpion. Why are you saying you're a shark?
No, he says he's a shark, but then he like acts like a dog.
He barked like a dog.
Yeah. I don't think he knows what animal he is. He might be an animorph and he just turned into any animal.
He's the
like Omni.
Mortal Kombat. He turns into a scorpion and it's an animality.
Animality.
And then we had this weird, after this match, we had this weird promo with fucking Dustin Rhodes and Arn Anderson.
Hey, I got something to say about that promo.
Okay, what do you guys say?
Well, I didn't say what my score was for this match.
Sorry.
So, I guess I just like this match better than you guys. I don't know. I thought it was pretty good. I thought they had good chemistry. And I thought it was a TV title match that didn't suck for once.
That is true.
Because it was good. It was like it went. There wasn't bullshit. They didn't do shenanigans. Other than the heel cheating to win.
It didn't go to the very last fucking second. I'll give you that. You're right.
And I liked the kind of struggle they had, where like it felt more like a fight a little bit than a wrestling match. I gotta stick with my guns on that, where I say like I like shit that feels like a fight, like it's a confrontation, not like just not saying I don't like wrestling matches. I gave us a 6.6 out of 10.
Okay.
I'll bump up to 6.
Yeah.
It makes you brought up a relevant point because I complained an awful lot the last several shows about the TV title thing, and you're right. This one was there. So
I mean, at first I was like, oh no, these two again. I was like, well, Larry's champion. Okay, this could be different, and then it was different. It played out differently. So, But yeah, Okerlund's out there, and he's with Dustin and Arn Anderson, and apparently Dustin asked Arn to be his partner against Kenny's dad and Terry Funk. I'm never gonna let that go. It's
Bunkhouse Buck.
Bunkhouse Buck is Kenny Omega's secret father. Arn accepts, but lets Dustin know there's conditions. They could get fined a lot of money. They could get hurt, but they're going to turn the hurting around on them, brother. And then Arn shakes Dustin's hand like a fucking man. And they
You forgot one thing. He would turn on his own grandmother for $2.
See, $2. Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't write that down. Yeah, that was a good one.
He was talking about how you're not getting the Arn Anderson has been here. You're getting the one that the fans have wanted for a long time. The one
Block Anderson.
Yeah, I was waiting for him to pull out a gun and a pair of scissors and be like, "Yeah, motherfucker, let's go," because he just had that whole confrontation or that incident with Sid. So I was waiting for him to pull the scissors out and yeah, somebody's getting stabbed.
Let's go. That was Sid. Sid's the one that produced the scissors.
He did, but Arn finished the job.
Yeah, he stabbed him with his own scissors.
And then Sid showed up at the ER like, "Oh my god!"
Arn!
Then he had Joey from Full House going, "Cut it out."
Oh damn,
bro. Dustin was real fired up in this promo too. I was like, well, this is a Bash of the Beach. Maybe this one will be good because Terry Funk's in it and Arn Anderson's in it and Dustin's in it. Maybe Kenny's dad can be a minor part of the equation in a tag match and it'll be good.
Just don't have him do anything to set up a spot for a pile driver. Jesus Christ.
Don't do that. I mean, some people just can't do shit. So don't do that and tell him to fucking sell.
Just have him do bread and butter stuff and sell. That's easy.
Just don't wrestle.
Yeah, you can do that too. Don't worry, he's not gonna do it for much longer.
Well, these guys wrestle. You got Johnny B. Bad and Stone Cold. Stunning Steve Austin. That was his Freudian slip. For the U.S. title, Steve Austin is still champion right now.
No Colonel Parker.
No, I know it's two things. Johnny B. Bad came out looking more serious, and he didn't have his bad blaster.
He did.
He even had the little robe that had words and stuff on it.
Yeah. It was just a little message for, South Carolina, brother.
He didn't have it going to the ring, but they gave him one to shoot stuff into the crowd while Stunning Steve Austin was coming out.
Oh, I didn't see that. Okay.
Yeah.
I looked away. I must have been typing when that happened.
Yeah, he'd been bad blasting.
Well, okay. He still looked more serious. And then, Austin comes out with no Colonel Parker, which he said, I guess, I don't want this asshole coming out with me. I don't know. He's got a point to prove.
I guess there was something, there was some type of confrontation, and then it was decided that Parker would not come out with him anymore.
Good.
That's how they said it. Unless I misunderstood commentary, the way it was said was Parker said that he would not be coming out with he still supports him, but he is not coming out with Steve Austin anymore. Not just this match. So.
They heard your criticism, your criticism time traveled backwards and affected the
fucking.
You got still goddamn sick of Robert Parker. He's like your IRS in WCW.
I'll tell you what chicken is, boy.
They need to get IRS and Colonel Parker together.
Fucking Doug Dimino motherfucker. I can't deal with that shit.
What if Colonel Parker managed Paul Roma?
Well,
we wouldn't be here. There would be a void in space and time, which would suck up everything, and
that
would be interesting.
I guess I'd like to see how it would play out. I mean, Johnny starts fighting Austin, and Austin now wrestles him for a moment until Johnny takes back over. He does arm wringer. He's fucking his arm up. And he uses his speed and shit to get the better of him, arm drag, drop kick. He does babyface moves, and he's pretty over with the fans still right now too. There's a spot where he throws Austin in the corner, but he gets his feet up on a charge, and I like this. He just rushed at him, grabbed his head, just drove his head into the fucking mat. It wasn't even a move. He just went just fuck you, bam. And then he kind of took over for a while after that. Austin did until, he was just getting heat. It wasn't like he was doing anything crazy. He was just beating him down, basically.
Being an asshole.
Johnny comes back, does drop kick, body slam, and he goes to top rope to do his sunset flip move, but Austin dodged it and he crashed and burned. Tries to cover him, but he only gets two. And then Bad hits him with the punch, the kiss that don't miss. He managed to hit him with that. And he kicks out of it. I think he kicked out of it. It was weird. I don't know what happened there. But he gets up in the corner, and then he, like Austin does, he's like, something's going on. He's like reaching into his trunks for something. And he's got an international object, as they call it over there. He punches Johnny in the face with it, or in the stomach, I mean, not the face. I would have hit him in the face. But he rolls him up in a small package for 3. And it's like, okay, he cheated and beat him, I guess. That kind of sucks for him. But and then Randy Anderson comes out to argue with Nick Patrick that he cheated. And he's like, he didn't cheat. And he's like, look, and he raises his hand, and then like the thing comes down because he hit it in his armpit or something.
I was so stupid. I was like, I get it. Wrestling does that sometimes where they're just like, oh, we're just going to have the referee come down and say there was a cheat that happened. But at the same time, like, remember how we always talk about like faces are stupid and heels are smart and stuff? This was the one time a heel was stupid and didn't like put the fucking thing in his trunks or whatever. And he just put it under his fucking armpit. I just thought
this was
gonna get away.
This was the Dusty finish written by a 3rd grader.
It was somebody did a Dusty finish, but they didn't do it right.
It's too dusty.
It was
Dave
too
Sutherland fucking booked this motherfucker.
Yeah. I also want to point out something funny. You said the ref coming down. The ref did not come down. That ref was there at ringside.
He appeared.
So that means there were 2 refs for this match, which means announcing that there were 2 refs for the tag team title match didn't fucking matter because there were 2 refs for all the matches.
Okay, well.
Fucking stupid.
Weird.
That made me really, really frustrated with the first match. But yeah, they're not even like officially deciding what to do yet. They're just arguing about the whole thing about whether there was interference or it's legal or not. And then Johnny B. Bad just rolls Steve up, and they just said, "Fuck it, I guess it is 1, 2, 3," and they just give Johnny B. Bad the fucking title.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what the fuck? And then like he celebrates, and then they're like, it ends, and they're just like, I guess we'll hear something about this later. I'm like, why not now? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. So the thing is, the crowd loved it. The crowd was really into it, and this is my surprise. I'll have to go back and find it because I honestly don't know if it'll work. But there is a VHS of me popping to this match finish as a kid. So 5-year-old me apparently liked Johnny B. Bad, and I've wondered like why I thought something weird about it. Like I just didn't remember it all. Yeah, apparently like this is that turn, and I guess I liked it when I was a kid too, so I was into it. But I apparently was all about him winning this other I was very excited about the whole thing. I guess there's a video of me watching it and jumping on a wrestling buddy and be like, yeah! That other guy's bad. He'll never wrestle. Yeah, so, but yeah, as far as watching it now, it's like, oh, it was pretty bad. 5-year-old me had not the best judgment. But
That's bad with 2 Ds.
Hey, we didn't know what his career trajectory was really going to be.
yeah, I didn't know he was going to become fucking Brock Lesnar's cuck.
I didn't know he was gonna fucking also get cucked out of by Sonny.
A career Sable.
Yeah.
Don't insult Sonny like that. God damn it. At least she had talent.
She's fucking with her mouth.
No, she had talent besides that.
So what did everybody give this match?
I gave this a 6.8. I thought it was good and then the ending was weird, and then I was like, well, okay, and I thought they were going to resolve it later, and they never did. So I'm thinking about dropping it a little fuzz. I'll see what you guys have to say about it.
So yeah. I had this at like a 7, but then the finish got a little fucky and frustrated, so I marked it at 6.6.
I gave it a 6.3 because the ending. Like I was like content with the fucking match, and then I was like, wow, this fucking ending blows.
I'm gonna drop it down Chad's score. That's how I feel. Since they didn't resolve it. They didn't feel the need to fucking resolve it here, fine.
Right, so that's the way it is.
Hulk Hogan comes out there, Jimmy Hart, Mean Gene's there to conduct an interview with him, and
what the fuck is that music, by the way?
It's his fucking WCW theme because he can't use Real American.
Kid!
That's a WWF property. That fucking theme.
Oh yeah, his original theme. Yeah, you can't play that. Yep.
So they did a WCW Dollar General ripoff of it.
Yep.
It's very, there's a hint of it there. If you listen to it closely, you'd be like, oh yeah, there it is a little bit.
Enough to not get sued.
Yep. And then Hogan does a Hogan promo, brother. And he talks about who he's going to take on, whoever wins the match, brother, and he'll face him. And then Rick.
Yeah, that's where I fucking laughed my ass off, is when Ric Flair fucking came on.
This is the best part of the promo. Ric Flair appears on the Not Titantron, and he's like, he goes full 80s Ric Flair, unhinged Ric Flair. He's like, what do you mean whoever wins this? And he's like freaking out, and you can see he's turning red. His blood pressure is raising.
He has a legitimate point. This dude fucking comes from the enemy territory and decides when he's getting a title shot. Now, I understand it's Hulk Hogan, but it's like, I see Ric Flair's point.
Yeah. What's funny though is he dances around the whole thing. He skirts it, right? He says everything but just directly saying, "I tried to face you in WWF, and we never got to do it." And again, it's where that reality thing would have been great. In a perfect world, it'd been so awesome for him to have been like, you know, the only reason we didn't fight was because Vince was afraid of what I would do to you, or something like that. It would have been really cool to tie it in, but people didn't do that right now. That's not a thing, right? So he still made it like, I've been trying to find you all over the world. People talk all over the world about what would happen, but we know I'm Ric Flair. But I love when he's like, he hits that peak of anger and his voice completely cracks.
He cracks, yeah. I love it. I don't care. I love when Ric Flair loses his shit.
He's like, I've been looking all over the world, and I know I'm the best.
Yeah, pretty much.
Woo! Clap pretty hard. He's fucking nuts. It's great.
I have to bring up this weird question that we just got on Twitch, so I'm gonna pull it up. Random question: if you could choose any celebrity to see get tickled, who would it be? Probably Colonel Parker.
Is this a bot? If I answer, are you going to send me nudes and then I'm going to have to like pay money? That's weird.
Celebrity tickle.
Celebrity tickle? I don't know.
I say Justin Bieber. This is quite arrogant that he hated.
She really thought about this.
That's pretty random. That is a strange. It is a strange thing to ask on a wrestling show.
I know who I want to see get tickled.
Who?
Vince McMahon.
Oh God!
I want to see his reaction.
That would be pretty funny.
And you know what? I think I know what his reaction would be. He would get fucking mad because it's something he can't control. It's like that sneezing thing.
Justin is a good choice.
No, you explained it. I thought that was pretty interesting. I want Vince McMahon to get tickled because I want to see his reaction to not being able to control bodily function. God damn it!
I'll try to.
And he farts.
I'll try to pick something that blends both together, both wrestling and like a larger celebrity. It's got to be specific combination. I want Jake Paul, but I want his partner in the Prime bottle to tickle him.
You mean Logan Paul?
Or Logan Paul. Yeah, okay. Actually, Jake Paul too. I want both Paul brothers to be tickled at the same time by the Prime bottle.
Oh God. That's a fucking sight.
KSI, that's the dude's name.
KSI. Yeah. And while it's happening, I'm gonna eat the Charizard.
Oh, I knew you were gonna say I was gonna eat the Prime bottle. I was like, wait a second.
Yeah. No, my money.
You should just steal it and sell it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not a bot. Because the Paul brothers is a good choice.
It's not a bot. It was a joke at first. It was a random question, but a fair one. It was actually pretty funny. Thank you for the question. I thought it was actually very funny.
It's convenient to Logan Paul being a wrestler, and we're talking about wrestling right now, which we'll get back to wrestling.
Dub, you didn't say who you want to see get tangled.
Colonel Parker.
He said Colonel Parker because the way he'd laugh if like is he dying? Is he having an orgasm, or is he just laughing? We don't know.
It's yes.
I'll say it.
I think Jake Paul is so arrogant. I think they're all arrogant.
Yeah.
And they're all sociopaths.
It's true.
Yeah.
Main events next.
Actually, you know what? There's actually a tie-in. Sorry, I got to finish it together because I just thought of it. The Paul brothers and Colonel Robert Parker managing IRS have something in common.
What?
Suicide Forest.
Oh God.
Because that's where I would think I'd want to go if I had to watch that.
Oh,
Well, we need to book it now.
There it is. All right, that's enough segues.
Oh,
Let's go on to the greatest match of all time.
Ric Flair.
Maybe.
Ric Flair, the world champion of WCW versus Sting, the international heavyweight champion, for the title unification that I brought up and said, I think they're going to unify the title soon. I saw Jake Paul was ticklish in a YouTube video. Well.
Oh well. That's a great tie-in, I guess.
Everybody is ticklish.
That is true.
Yeah, even Vince McMahon. But they're gonna unify him. I remember I was saying something like, I think they unify him soon. I didn't know it was actually going to be like this Clash of Champions until I looked at the card. It was like, oh shit, it's right now. I thought it was at like Bash at the Beach or some shit. They've been talking about how Sherry Martel is supposed to be here all night, and then finally she comes down there, and both men are in the ring, and she's like wearing this little mask thing, like a little masquerade thingy over her face.
Mm-hmm.
And then she reveals it. She's got a copy of Sting's face paint on. That means she's a Stinger.
Oh, this woman.
Oh, I'm interested to hear your story about this.
Thank you for the question, Emma.
Yeah, thanks. I couldn't write that many notes about this because I was like plugged into this match because it's a Sting, it's a Surfer Sting match, the man called Sting, and Ric Flair's here in his prime. And I don't know. I was paying more attention to the action.
Well, Ric Flair started like becoming full Ric Flair heel kind of thing going on because remember, like all the matches we've been seeing, he was kind of a tweener.
He's a little bit of a baby face, but he's like a tweener. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been in that role for a while now.
Yeah, for a few years at this point, he kind of had, except for when he was in WWF. There, he was a heel, but like. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, like 6 months or more. Basically, since he's won the title, he's been a face up until now.
Yeah, I think he was a babyface in WCW before he left too. Like at that point, like the crowd just.
Right before he left. Yeah.
But the story of this match though is just Sting's just got Flair's number. It seems like it's just every time Flair tries offense, he can't string anything together. Sting will no sell it and overpower him or overwhelm him. And like Flair gets mad several times and walks away and he's mad. And it's like Bobby Heenan keeps bringing up his Hogan got under his skin because he pissed him off. He made him go ape shit earlier.
Yeah, he's like flexing and stuff. He's like, oh yeah, he never does this.
Yeah, which is true.
He's like, Rick, don't listen to the humanoids. Love that.
Usually, like, I noticed something here. Usually I get annoyed by like no sell spots, especially Hogan style ones. He's like, "Hold on, brother." The Tatanka War Dance thing is like that now.
Yeah.
But like Sting's always makes me pop, even as like a fucking adult. I don't know what it is. It's like when somebody hits Sting with some bullshit and then he like stands up and is just like waiting. And then like they turn around, he's like, ah! And then he just like does some shit, like he clotheslines him 4 times and does a drop kick and then just press slams him. I'm like, fuck yeah! Like it's like I'm 10 or some shit. I don't know.
He's like on cloud 9, man. He's fighting Ric Flair for the unification of the title. He thinks that Sherry's on his side, so he's like, man, I
have to impress a woman.
Yeah.
I mean, over the years, there have been so many great spots that fit that moment. My single favorite nowadays, recency bias, is one of his first matches back to AEW. He is wrestling, and it's like whoever they're wrestling against, it may have been FTR. I don't know who it was. They do something underhanded, and they get a chair. And whoever hits him, I mean, they hit him hard as fuck in the back, and he no-sells it and turns around and does that. And I'm like, This old ass man, he's like in his 60s. He's just taking a chair shot like a fucking boss. That was fucking cool. I was like, God damn.
Yeah, and I was gonna say like
Shit. I was like,
I got like Undertaker no cells were always okay with me because there's certain nuance you can do with it. You can pull it off and it's cool. Kane,
absolutely, yeah.
But Sting, I'm like Sting's another one now. I've come to appreciate something about when Sting pops up and gets hype and then he just hits you with a bunch of shit. It's always awesome.
Yep. No, I totally agree.
Like, let's see.
Oh, there was I think it ties into what you're gonna say next. If you're cool, it's the spot I remember. It was really awesome. He does a series of Irish whips into the press slams, which are awesome. And he's getting high as shit. And then I think it's the second or third one. Flair gets out of the ring and right in front of Sherry and does the Flair flop.
He like rolls outside, and just goes. He like walks backwards or some shit and falls.
And then he gets up because the camera's like, "What happened?" And he's like, "Get out of my face! What are you doing?"
He's like freaking out. Yeah.
Who was that guy in the top hat in the crowd? Did you see that guy?
No, I didn't see that guy.
He was sitting down wearing a top hat and like a fucking suit and shit. I'm like, is that a wrestler or are they just dressing up as the Monopoly man? Like, what the fuck is going on here?
That's a southern.
Didn't like him either. It was like,
is that Vince McMahon fucking sitting there watching the match?
It's a 1990s plantation owner.
That's what I was gonna say. He's a plantation owner.
It's Carl Parker.
It might be Carl Parker's friend.
I own an assortment of tobacco farms.
Exactly.
and I sell peaches, and crackers, and peanuts, and candies.
I need a mint julep.
I need some cream. Sherry, get over here.
Damn this heat. But no, Flair can't get an edge on Sting pretty much through the whole match up until a certain spot in the match where Flair's sent back out to the floor for like the 12th fucking time. Not under his own power. He just ends up there. Sting is like, he goes for a dive. He's going to hit him with a dive. And then Flair grabs Sherry, who's like right near him, throws him in his way, and just ducks out of the way. And she gets cross-bodied by Sting.
Dude, you see her head? It hit the fucking, the rail like hard. I thought like, she might have actually hurt her head for real.
I don't know. I'm not sure. She seemed okay after that. So I think it might have
show must go on, man. Maybe later she fucking puked up sushi or something at the back after.
But like Sting's like, oh shit, because he realizes what just happened, and then like Randy Anderson's like, what happened? He's like, oh, he just threw her in the way. I don't know. I didn't hit her on purpose.
I love this. He's like talking and checking on her and trying to explain it, and Flair just stands up on the apron and just kicks him in the back of the head. He's like, back of the ring.
He like mule kicks his ass in the back of the head, gets him in the ring. It's
fucking donkey kick, just bam.
And then Heenan's like, that'll wake Sting up. Fucking like, but like at that point, like Sting's all shook up now. He's kind of like fucked up because he realizes he flattened a woman. And then, like, he's busy trying to check on her because she manages to, like, kind of crawl her way back up to the apron. It's like, oh, this looks like she's fucked up. And then Sting's like, you okay? Like, pats her on the head. And then, like, Flair rolls him up while he was doing that. Gets a 3.
He gets tights, too. It's like the whole thing. It's like a little late, but he does the whole thing, gets it all in there.
Stole it.
Yeah, he stole it.
And then after the match, it was revealed that Sherry was working with Flair the whole time. And they assault Sting.
My favorite part is like after Sting loses, like Sherry hugs Ric Flair, and like Sting thinks like Rick is like harming her, so he like jumps in and like punches Ric Flair and like tries to like console Sherry, and that's when she beats him up, and then. Dude, her fucking splashes are kind of cool.
Like Flair holds him down. She hits like some. I won't call him a frog splash. Maybe about like a tadpole because of her size.
Mm-hmm.
But Sting sells it, and then my favorite part though is she fucking crushes his nutsack. She does like the Jeff Hardy thing where he like lands on you with his fucking legs. Mm-hmm. He's like, oh, like he sold it. Like, oh yeah, that's probably an appropriate reaction. And then Hogan comes out, and it's a typical Hogan save, brother. And what I mean by that is Hogan runs out there and runs Flair off. And Sherry saves him from getting killed. And he goes and he pats Sting on the head. You okay, brother? It's Sting's his little buddy now. And I'm like, God damn it. I already don't like this.
Hold on a second. We got to bring this up. You missed the part when Jimmy Hart is rooting for Hulk Hogan to beat up a woman. Slap her. He's like on his little fucking bullhorn.
Well, she slaps the shit out of him.
Yeah,
Yes. Sherry's doing moves. She's fucking beating guys up now.
You just see Jimmy Hart. Slap her. Come on.
That's not a lady. That's a harlot. That's a Jezebel.
Yeah, or as so again in my family, we didn't, including the adults, it was all real. So when all this happened, we're all upset because we're all huge Sting fans, and like Flair stole it, but it was Sherry's fault. And I remember someone, I don't remember who it was, called her a no good lying bitch, and I repeated it, and I got my ass beat. That's my story. So I actually on my birthday got whooped with a belt because I called Sherry a no good lying bitch for costing Sting his title. And she ruined my birthday. I was like, that bitch ruined my birthday. And then I got my ass beat. So that was my story about this. Remembering it. I was 5. What a time.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
10 out of 10.
This was your Tokyo Dome dream match.
Yeah, no, 12 stars in Tokyo Dome. Now, I mean, I liked the match. The psychology was really good. The post-match stuff I didn't care for as much. I didn't bother with that, though. I didn't configure that into all
That's
this.
because you were getting beaten by a belt.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He mentally blocked out that afterbirth shit.
It's hard times, baby. But I like the way they tied it in. Flair's now like this cements him back as a heel because they need someone because they're clearly setting up the Flair Hogan thing which was whatever. But that all said, and we'll talk more about that because we didn't get the whole thing, him getting booed and whatever. But I really liked the match. I kept it even though because I thought it was great, but it was not the best thing that I'd said. So I tried to keep it kind of fair. I gave it an 8, just right at 8.
Yeah, I mean, I liked the psychology. I didn't really care for the Hogan thing. I just thought Jimmy Hart was funny with the bullhorn, just fucking telling him to whoop her ass and shit. The Sherry heel turn, it's kind of funny because WCW is going to do like from here on out, they're going to do like these twists, like these turns that you think is going to be like, oh, they're for this person, psych, it's for the other person. Which WCW has like a long list, especially when we get into the Monday night Nitro era, where everybody's switching to like Wolfpack and Black and White NWO. But this match was good. I mentioned it on Facebook. I said I think I like Surfer Sting more than Crow Sting. They're both great. They both served their gimmicks during their time, but I think I like Surfer Sting more.
I think I like Joker Sting more.
No, Surfer Sting's definitely where it's at. I think with Crow Sting, people don't want to realize that Crow Sting took a long time for the payoff to happen, and then the payoff was still kind of like a wet fart, but it was still kind of cool and brooding as it built up. But he didn't do very much of anything. It took a long ass time to finally get any little bits of payoff, and then they kind of flubbed the rest of it, and then he kind of just fumbled as he stayed as Crow Sting, but it was still cool. But then the Wolfpack thing, all that nonsense happened.
Oh, and he started to talk and stuff. It just like,
yeah,
you should have been back to Surfer Sting after that.
He spent like 8 months just like not saying shit and like beating people up with bats and like just deciding, which was really cool but it was also weird. It's like, well, he just beats up whoever. I don't know what's going on. It was just kind of strange, but like, yeah, Surfer Sting's where it's at though. Now, I want cokehead beach party. Fucking, I'm juiced. Woo!
Yep, 7.5
Red
out
Blazer
of 10.
Sting.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Dubs?
7.5 out of 10.
Oh, I give it 7.6 out of 10.
Nice. Oh yeah, we're still pretty much ballpark, even with my Sting bias. My Stang.
Brett bias, Sting bias.
Best match of the night, hands down.
Oh yeah, not even close.
For this show, yeah. Uh, yeah, after the match, Hogan challenges Flair, brother, and he says even if he's got to twist fucking Ted Turner's arm, he'll get it. That's it. I'm over Hulk Hogan already. I'm just like
So
I'm
is
not.
the crowd. Like, I mean, you have some people there excited, but a bunch of people are booing, right?
It's a mixed reaction. Yeah, it's not quite like a Cena mixed reaction or like a, or people. They tried to say Roman Reigns had a mixed reaction, but that wasn't true. So, but it's there's definitely some boozy pick up on, and we kind of talked about that in the chat a little bit before, where it's like, well, that in that region, they're biased against Hogan already, like the diehard fans are.
Oh, yeah, Hogan's the devil.
Yeah, and they didn't like the WWF wrestling. They never could get a foothold in the South until, like I was saying, until like the late '90s when they could really start doing some business there.
Mm-hmm.
And that might have started planting the seeds for him to turn heel later on, because like they must have sat down and be like, we can't do this yellow and fucking red bullshit here.
Well, they fought with him for a while about it. I mean, I'm not saying they were having like goddamn arguments, but they worked on him for a while. It's like, you want to turn heel? And he's like, no, brother, I can't. He just didn't think he could do it. He didn't think it would work.
Thought it was just ruining his career, and he had more time to go. Meanwhile, like, he was getting stale in WWF. That was part of the problem there, is that like he probably would have went heel if he would have stuck around in WWF, because they knew they were moving on to something else and he was getting stale and it wasn't going to work, but his politicking just got nonsensical. But actually, a fun fact with the Bash at the Beach 96, when that all happened, so they offered a couple of different people to be the one to turn. And whenever they weren't sure if Hogan was going to take it or not, or they were going to find that third person, Sting actually was the one they were originally going to turn heel. The original idea was to turn heel Sting, and Sting would have been the third man. But
oh, wow, God, that'd be weird.
Yeah, but again, a lot of it was hinging on what to do, and Sting was really like, well, "Can you really do that? Like, how is that going to work?" And then Hogan finally came back and said, "No, I want to do it." Like, to be clear, Hogan, like, the idea was brought up, and then it was like, "Well, what if we did it with Hogan? We were already working." And then they asked Hogan first, I guess technically, but Hogan was like, "I don't know if I want to do that." So then Sting is like basically set up, and I think it was like, the story, if I remember it correctly, was the day of or the day before was when Hogan decided, okay, I'll do it. So literally, it was like a last minute thing. They still didn't know who they were going to turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why they had this storyline where Lex Luger's like, "Are you attacking me?" And when they used that double Sting guy or whatever,
fake Sting.
Yeah, fake Sting. Oh, yep. But that was what was going to happen. But yeah, thankfully it kind of worked out, because, I mean, again, love him or hate him, like, NWO is a huge thing. Shit, everybody. I mean, people that didn't even like know what wrestling was had an NWO shirt.
That's right.
Like, everybody's into it. It was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this was actually a pretty decent clash, despite some bumps in the road.
I mean, considering some of the turds we've had before, yeah, it wasn't bad.
It started off slow, and then it like gradually picked up. Like once it got to Larry Zbyszko and Steven Regal, it like business was picking up pretty much.
Yeah. I even show 6.8 out of 10.
Oh, well, I'm gonna give it an old nice 6.9 out of 10.
Oh, and make sure that's the average. I'm at 7. And right.
We did it.
Hooray!
All right, so what are we doing? You already did the administrative thing, and ECW is out of this year until we get to 95. Because I researched, by the way, Paul Heyman goes in at 95, and that's when shit starts getting better.
Yeah, I think we had mentioned that before when we were talking about it. It was like, Paulie doesn't get the book till later, I guess. So
the next thing that we have on here is WWF Monday Night Raw, July 11, 1994. And then WCW Bash at the Beach, July 17th, 1994. Is that what we're doing next?
That is what we're going to do next, I guess.
Yeah. All right. So remember to watch those and then come back. Remember, bi-weekly on Thursdays, usually at 10 p.m. Eastern time. Next, we, because, life got in the way and we wanted to reschedule. I did a more of administrative reschedule for Big Trouble. We will be talking about Barbarian, that movie, that I think we're going to have a good discussion about. So just remember to watch that on Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern time.
Hey,
but then,
I was going to say, maybe we'll cover SummerSlam because it's happening next Saturday.
mm-hmm.
Oh shit! Yeah, I forgot it is right.
Cody's going to win.
I think he kind of has to.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So until next time, everybody, remember to get some color. Peace.
I did it!
Please don't knock those together. No.
Holy shit!